A service of KIBMradio.com, the Internet's home for an all old-time radio.
The Life of Mary Sothern, the dramatic story of a young widow who rejects the familiar pattern of her life for an unknown and uncertain future. And now, the life of Mary Sothern. Soon after Mary had begun to recover from the shock of her husband's death, she received a blow of a different sort. The news that she was penniless. Refusing Dr. John Benson's offer of marriage, Mary declared that she would find a way of supporting herself and her children. Her new friends in Craig's Falls, David Drake and Father Brady, believed her instinct was right in refusing to return to her old life in Sanders, and proved their confidence in her by arranging to care for her twins at the neighborhood house. And yesterday, Mary actually obtained the promise of a job in a little lunchroom, providing she made good after a week's trial. She was delighted, but David and John Benson were united in their emphatic disapproval of this cheap restaurant in the poorer section of town. It is early the next afternoon, Mary's first day on her new job. The restaurant is deserted, and Ned Barker, the dyspeptic proprietor, is finishing his lunch as Otto, the cook, approaches angrily from the kitchen.
Mr. Parker, I want you should answer me one question, no?
No. I mean, yes. What is it, Otto?
I cook good enough for you and your customers for 10 years, no?
No.
No.
I mean, sure. Customers all walked out alive so far, and I keep myself going on soda mints.
This is no time for jokes, Mr. Parker. Since when did you get the idea you sent me a cooking teacher?
Oh, I get it. Is she out there in the kitchen?
Oh, what else do you think I'm talking from?
I feel the same way you do about it, Otto. A woman's place is anywhere where I ain't.
Woman's place is not in my kitchen.
I knew no good would come of hiring a woman.
Well, she does not have to stay hired, does she?
No, but... Say, Otto, what do you think of them things hanging in the windows? Them curtains she put up this morning.
So, you really want to know, Mr. Parker?
No, never mind. I got a good idea what you think.
Did you pay good money for them crazy things?
$4. That's why I'm sitting with my back to them. They won't get sicker than I am already. Women are all alike. I hire her for a week at no salary, so she gets me spending money.
Listen, Mr. Parker, I think you're sick in the head hiring that woman.
You don't have to tell me that. I ought to be taken away and locked up. Only, did you notice 2 tourist cars stopped for lunch today?
And why shouldn't they?
No reason why they shouldn't. Only nothing like that's happened in months. Mary says some new curtains and some pots of green stuff she bought for the window.
Well, you telling me for 10 years you cannot stand women. Well, I am telling you, that woman gets out of my kitchen.
Otto, I've been looking for you. I wanted to tell you that beef goulash of yours is the best I've ever tasted.
Yeah?
Will you show me how you make it someday?
Well, sure I will, ma'am.
I've always said that men were better cooks than women anyway. Don't you think so, Mr. Barker?
All cooking's poison to me.
Yes, men like Otto are better cooks than most women. Better than I am, anyway. But, of course, I do pride myself on my apple pie. It was awfully good of you to let me use the oven, Otto.
Apple pie. Himmel.
Look, Mr. Barker, I'd like you to have the first piece.
Me eat pie with my dyspepsia just as soon sign my death warrant.
Just look. Oh, it's crammed full of juicy apples. And the crust is so light and flaky. Won't you just try the small piece?
Well, I gotta say, it is a good-looking apple pie.
Thank you, Otto. That means a lot to me, coming from a fine cook like you.
Looks almost good enough to eat.
Well, that's why I made it, to be eaten. Come on, taste it, Mr. Barker.
All right. I suppose one bite wouldn't kill me.
No, I promise you it won't.
Tastes like you put real apples in them.
I did, and plenty of them. I thought maybe if Otto didn't mind, I might bake some more tomorrow. We could make a specialty of home-cooked apple pie.
How about it, Otto?
So, why should you ask me? I ain't a boss. I only work here.
I promised not to get in your way in the kitchen, Otto. Oh, wait, here comes a customer. Is he a new one, Mr. Buck?
Joe? One of the regulars. Been coming over here ever since I opened the place.
Well, finish your lunch. I'll wait on you.
Hey, Ned, what's going on? Fixing up your place for one of them masquerades?
Didn't you ever see curtains before?
Good afternoon. Would you like to sit here at this table?
Say, this is something new for your place, Ned, a dame. Listen, babe, I'll sit any way you say.
Joe generally sits at the counter, Mary. I'll take care of him.
Don't you see you're in a way, Ned? Little lady's going to take good care of me, ain't you, kiddo?
Listen, Joe,
I think
what
I'd
did you
better
say
go
about...
back to the kitchen.
Oh, no, you don't. What's your hurry, babe? I always hold the waitress's hand while I give the order. Helps me think. I'm back here.
Please let me go.
Gotta go, Joe.
I ain't good enough for your new waitresses. I didn't have...
No, you're not. And I think you better get out of here right now.
So you're throwing me out, are you, Ned?
You heard me. Start moving toward the door. Out. Mary, get out of the way.
I'll go get Otto.
Never mind, Otto. I can take care of this myself. Make it snappy, Joe. I can still use my fist if I have to.
Pipe down, I'm going. You'll be sorry for this, Barker.
Yeah, have a good cry about it after you're gone.
I'll fix you and your restaurant. A waitress is too good to talk to me.
Go on, keep moving, Joe.
Okay, Barker, okay, but you ain't seen the end of me. Not by a long shot.
There. Never did like him anyway.
Mr. Barker, I'm sorry that had to happen, but I'm very grateful to you.
That's what comes to having a woman in the place. Just lost one of my oldest customers.
I'm terribly sorry. I hope he didn't mean what he said about causing trouble for you.
I ain't afraid of him. But if I keep you here, it looks like I won't have a customer left by the end of the week.
Oh, we'll have new customers, lots of them. See, 2 men have just come in. Oh.
What's the matter? Know 'em?
Yes, I know them. Well, they're taking the corner table. I'll wait on you.
Okay.
How do you do?
Mary, this place is even worse than Drake described it.
Yes, Benson's right. You can't stay here, Mary. I know you can find a better job.
May
than
I
this.
take your order, gentlemen? We have a special beef goulash today. I can recommend it.
We didn't come here to eat, and you know it, Mary.
We don't encourage patrons to linger at the tables unless they order something.
Why?
We also have a very special homemade apple pie today.
Mary, please listen to me. This is no place for you. It's the worst neighborhood in town. The roughest men in the city come here.
And even if the restaurant were all right, it's not safe for you to leave here after dark.
No.
David says it's dangerous.
Yes, it is. It is dangerous. You have to walk 3 blocks to the bus.
If you're not going to order anything, I think you'd better leave. Mr. Barker, my boss will think I'm wasting time.
Mr. Barker, I don't care what he thinks. You've got to leave this
I'm
place.
not going to leave, and I won't have you and David interfering with my job. I know what I'm doing, and I have confidence in Mr. Barker. He's a gentleman.
A gentleman? Mary, you've never known people like this Ned Barker. You don't know what sort of a person he
Will
is.
you please stop talking so loud? Mr. Barker's looking at us. He'll hear you.
Well, I don't care if he does.
Well, I do. I have reason to know that I can trust him. Something happened a few minutes ago to prove that.
Yes?
But I refuse to stand here and explain everything to you just as if I were a child.
Now, Mary, I can't go back to Sanders knowing you're working in a place
And
like
last
this.
week you said you couldn't go away knowing that I didn't have a job.
Well...
Now you object because I found one and I'm trying to keep it.
Oh, Mary, wait a minute. Let me tell you something. I'm responsible for your coming here. That's why I'm so worried. It's all my fault. I brought you here for coffee that first night I met you. And I've never liked the looks of this Ned Barker.
Yes, and I don't like him either. I don't trust him.
He's coming over here. Won't you please go?
Having trouble with these two fellers?
Oh, no. That is, I...
Fresh type. Forget about food the minute they see a pretty waitress.
What do you mean?
Don't get tough with me, young fella. Listen, Mary, don't be afraid to speak up. Are they bothering you like that other one did? Just say the word and I'll throw them out, too.
Yes, they're bothering me, Mr. Barker.
What?
Now, if you're looking for a fight, Mr. Barker...
I know these 2 men, and I think they'll leave without being thrown out. John, won't you and David please go? Everything's all right, quite all right.
Well, I don't see what more we can say, Manson. We'd better leave as long as Mary feels that way about it.
All right. Let's go. But I wish you'd listen to us, Mary.
I'll listen to you after I get back to the boarding house tonight. Now, please go quickly.
Okay. I'll see you tonight, too, Mary.
Yep. I sure knew what I was talking about. No good ever come of hiring a woman.
I'm terribly sorry about this.
Yep. Had more trouble today than I had in 10 years. Losing all my customers on account of you. But you'd better make some more of them apple pies.
Ned Barker has risen to Mary's defense today like a gentleman. Begins to look as if her instinctive liking for him is justified. But will she ever be able to convince David and John Benson that her new employer is to be trusted? Mary has had an eventful and disturbing first day at her new job. A job which does not as yet and may never pay a salary. Instead of acquiring new business, her boss, Ned Barker, was obliged to order one of his oldest customers out of the place to protect Mary. Will Joe, the man who was ejected, make good his angry threats and cause serious trouble for Ned? And now that David and John Benson have virtually come to blows with Ned, aren't they likely to take even more drastic measures to persuade him to give up the job? There'll be further developments tomorrow in the life of Mary Sothern.
Ladies and gentlemen, the story you are about to hear is true. The names have been changed to protect the innocent.
Dragnet.
You're a detective sergeant. You're assigned the homicide detail. A call comes into the office. A woman says her husband is dead. She thinks he's been murdered. Your job, investigate.
Dragnet, the documented drama of an actual crime. For the next 30 minutes, in cooperation with the Los Angeles Police Department, you will travel step by step on the side of the law through an actual case transcribed from official police files. From beginning to end, from crime to punishment, Dragnet is the story of your police force in action.
It was Wednesday, July 8th. It was sunny in Los Angeles. We were working the day watch out a homicide detail. My partner's Frank Smith. The boss is Captain Lorman. My name's Friday. It was 11:03 a.m. when we got to 906 South Norwood Street. Front door. Hi, Friday and Smith, homicide.
How are you? Carly, 1F14.
Hi, Carly.
Mrs. Pilson, the victim's wife, is back in the bedroom. Pretty broken up about it.
Uh-huh. What about the victim?
Name's George Pilson, age 57. No children. Just he and his wife live here. That's about all I got. She cried so much I thought it might be better to let her rest until you got here.
That's a good idea. Where's the body?
In the other bedroom, I'll show you.
All right.
Because she thought so bad, I thought maybe she'd like me to call her doctor. Said she didn't want any.
Uh-huh.
Mrs. Pilson's right across the hall.
Right. That's a head wound.
Yeah. Looks like somebody was serious.
Yeah. Now we're going to need the lab and latent prints.
You want me to call him?
Yeah. Better call the coroner, too, will you, please?
Right.
Thank you. The way he's lying here, position of his hands outside the covers, doesn't look like there was much of a struggle, does it?
No. Could have been asleep when he got it, huh?
Mm-hmm. Better talk to his wife, huh?
Yeah.
Miss Pilson. Miss Pilson, police officers.
Who is it?
Police officers would like to talk to you. Sorry to disturb you, ma'am, but we'd appreciate it if you tell us what you know about all this.
All right. You want to go in the front room?
All right, that'll be fine. You go ahead, please.
I couldn't talk to the other policeman.
We understand.
Calls are all in, Sergeant. Anything else I can do?
No, thanks, Carly. We'll handle it now.
Right, I'll shove off.
Miss Pilson, this is Frank Smith. My name's Friday.
Uh-huh.
How you doing, ma'am?
This is like so many other mornings. Except nobody sat in his chair like you are, Mr. Friday. I used to sit here and it was quiet. I didn't want to disturb George's sleep.
Well, then your husband usually slept during the morning hours, is that
Yes.
right?
He worked nights at the Belden Aircraft Company.
All right. Would you tell us what happened?
What is it to tell? He came from shopping and sounding just like he is now.
Do you remember what time it was?
I don't know for sure. 10:30. Somewhere around there.
When did you leave the house?
About the same time I usually do. I couldn't do my housework in the morning. Didn't want to disturb George.
Mm-hmm. About when would that be?
About 9 o'clock.
Was your husband asleep when you left?
Yes. He never closed the door, and I looked in before I left.
When you left the house this morning, did you lock the house?
The back door was locked. Never lock the front when I'm just going to be gone for a short while.
I see.
It doesn't take me more than 2 hours to shop at the most.
Do you know if your husband had any enemies, Miss Pilson?
Well, not that I know of. He might have, but he never said anything to me about them.
Mm-hmm. Hope you won't take offense, but we have to ask this. How did you and your husband get along?
I guess I should have known that I'd be suspect, too.
Well, we have to ask it.
I know, Mr. Friday. You men are strangers. How could you know what our marriage was like? And how do you sum up 30 years in 1 or 2 sentences? Good, bad, happy, unhappy? It was all those.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think our life is much different than most couples. Maybe one exception. You see over there on the table?
Yes, ma'am.
My collection of elephants. I started collecting them as a little girl. I always thought that one day I'd have a little girl. I'd give them to her. We never had any children.
Mm-hmm.
So my children have been pretend. I've kept adding to the collection all these years. Each new elephant is one that my little girl or perhaps a little boy would have added.
I see.
I was wrong before about something I said.
How's that?
I said you were strangers.
Yeah.
You're not, really. Otherwise, I wouldn't have told you about the elephants.
Yes, ma'am. Then you and your husband haven't had any quarrels recently?
Usual words. Nothing serious, though.
Now, there's something else we'll have to know.
Yes.
Do you know if any personal property is missing?
Stolen, you mean?
That's right.
Well, I'd have to look first.
When if you do that for us?
Right now?
Yes, ma'am. If you feel up to it, we'd appreciate it if you could.
You want to know about the bedroom, too?
Yes, ma'am.
All right.
One other thing, Miss Pilson.
Yes?
Was your husband in the habit of carrying large sums of money on his person, would you know?
Oh, no. Usually carried some cash, but never large amounts.
I see. All right. Would you like to start checking now, Miss Pilson?
Do you mind if we sit a moment longer?
No, it's all right. Take your time.
I was just remembering how like other days this is. I'd sit here reading or maybe just looking at my elephants and thinking.
Mm-hmm.
It would be real quiet. Then the clock would strike 12. I'd go in, wake George.
Yes, ma'am.
So we go in.
Yes, if you're ready.
It's not quite time. That won't make any difference now.
Beg pardon?
He won't hear us.
When we checked the bedroom, Miss Pilson told us her husband's watch and diamond ring were missing. She said as far as she could determine, nothing else had been taken from the house. In the meantime, crews from the crime lab and Leighton Prince arrived. Frank called the office, and they ran the names George and Marie Pilson through R&I. They called back later to say they could find no record on either one of them. Further questioning of the victim's wife failed to give us any definite lead as to who our suspect might be. We left the home and began to question some of the neighbors. 1:14 p.m., we rang the bell at the house directly across the street. We identified ourselves, and Sam Mordell, the occupant, admitted it. We went into the front room.
I was beginning to think I'd have to go look you fellas up.
How do you mean that, sir?
Well, I saw all the cars and activity over at the Pilsons. I couldn't figure out what it was. I thought it must be trouble of some kind. Well, curiosity just about got the best of me. Grab a chair. Might as well be comfortable while you're here.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much, Miss Mordell.
Don't mind all the wood shavings on the floor. You see, I'm a wood carver. It's not my job. It's just a hobby. I'm retired. I'm a railroad man.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, sir.
I had a rug in here, but I took it out. I always like those eating places with the sawdust on the floor. You know the kind. Of course, shavings aren't sawdust, but then it's easier to save them this way, too.
Yes, sir. I wonder if you'd answer a few questions for us.
Sure thing. Anyhow, if I keep on gabbing, I won't find out what this is all about. You go ahead and ask your questions.
Thank you. Do you usually sit in that chair when you work?
Sure do. Seldom miss a day. I call this my cab window.
What's that, sir?
Cab window. I used to be an engineer, sort of got used to looking out and enjoying the scenery as it went by.
Oh.
Of course, now the view doesn't change much, but I still like to see what's going on in the neighborhood.
Yes, sir. Were you sitting here this morning, sir?
Yeah. Don't miss many days. I haven't the time. I have to get this chain finished. A lot of work to carve at the wood chain.
Yes, sir. Did you remember seeing anybody around the Pilson residence this morning?
You mean besides Mrs. Pilson?
You saw her, did you?
Sure. She went shopping. She always goes Wednesday morning, of course, unless the weather is bad.
Yes, sir. Did you see anybody else?
Yes. Saw a fella come out of there while Mrs. Pilson was at the store.
Saw a man come out of the house?
Yeah.
Would you remember what time that was?
10 o'clock sharp.
You sure of that?
That's right. You see this watch?
Yes, sir.
They gave me this when I retired. You can see what it says on the back. See? Look.
It's real nice.
Railroad watch. Doesn't vary a bit. I don't get a newspaper, so I listen to the radio news when I'm working.
Mm-hmm.
Always check the time they come on. But I know that my watch is right. Sometimes they're a couple of seconds late or early. Most of go pretty much on schedule. Make good railroad men.
Yes, sir.
It was 10 o'clock sharp by my watch. Program was 3 seconds late.
Yes, sir. Now, did you see that man go in?
No. I went out to make a pot of coffee.
How long were you out of the room?
20 minutes. Never take any more than 20 minutes. Do you mind if I carve while we talk? I got to get this chain finished. They're going to get a new record.
Yes, sir. All right. Could you describe this man for us?
Sure, but I can give you a better clue than that.
What's that, Mr. Medill?
He had a truck.
Go ahead, Mike.
Printing on the side.
Uh-huh.
Man's name. Said he sharpened lawnmowers.
Do you know the name?
Well, I'm not real sure. Either Ray or Gray.
Was there an address?
Yeah, but the letter too small. Anyhow, I wasn't too interested. I sharpened my own mower.
Uh-huh. Can you tell us what kind of a truck it was?
Not the make, but it was a closed-in kind. Green color. Didn't look too new.
Uh-huh. And you say the name on the side was either Ray or Gray. Is that it?
Yeah, my eyes are good yet, but only the Ray part was real clear. It looked like there could have been another letter in the front, though.
Uh-huh.
Just thought of something.
Yes, sir.
It didn't have to be Gray. It could have been Bray or Trey.
Yes, sir. We can check that out.
Now, can I ask you something?
What's that, sir?
What's the trouble?
Well, Mr. Pilson's dead.
Well, couldn't have been a natural death, or you fellas wouldn't be asking questions. That's too bad. George was a pretty good neighbor.
Is that right, sir?
Be tough on his wife, too, being married so long and all. I went to their 25th anniversary. Isn't easy to go on alone. I lost my wife 7 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
Not when you've been happy. It's not easy.
Yes, sir. Mr. Mordell, you said you could give us a description of the man you saw coming out of Pilsen.
Yeah, and if he had anything to do with George's death, he's going to get what I wanted for so long.
What's that, sir?
That's when you catch him, I mean.
Yeah.
He'll get his name in the paper.
How's that again, sir?
That's why I'm carving this chain. It's going to be the longest chain ever carved out of a single piece of wood.
Oh, I see.
Almost made it a couple other times. Then I got too anxious and botched the whole thing. See there? Shavings?
Yes, sir.
When I finish, I'm going to sweep them all up and weigh them. You know, give the reporters something to write about.
Well, sir, I hope this one turns out for you.
Thanks. I'll make it this time. Maybe it won't be on the front page, but my name will be in the paper, too.
We can be sure of one thing.
Yeah?
You picked a little better way to get there. Sam Wardell gave us a description of the man that he'd seen. We called the office and got out a local broadcast, and then we went back to the Pilson house. We found a lawnmower in the backyard. Mrs. Pilson said her husband had sent the lawnmower out to be sharpened, but she didn't know who the man was that did the work. We checked the classified directory, and we found the name Gray's Lawnmower Service. The listing had been underlined in pencil. Frank and I drove to the address, 2604 Royal Street. It was a small shop set well back from the street. The place was locked. A clock sign on the door read, "We'll be back at," and the hand pointed to 4:30. We parked across the street and we waited. At 4:43 p.m., a man answering the description we'd been given unlocked the door and entered the shop. 4:45 p.m.
Oh, hiya. Hey, this is perfect timing. You've been waiting for me.
We're police officers.
Uh-huh. Well, guess that writes off the timing part.
Is your name Gray?
No, it's Para.
Do you work for a man named Gray?
Uh-uh. It's my own business. I bought it from him.
I see.
He'd been here for some 20 years, so I just kept the name.
Do you pick up and deliver in your business?
Yeah?
Well, then you have a truck.
That's right.
What kind?
Panel job, Dodge.
What color?
Green. Look, I don't mind answering questions. I know you got a job to do, but the way I see it, this question and answer game plays better if we both know what counts and what doesn't. How about it?
Well, for the time being, let's just say you called it, huh?
Yeah?
We got a job to do.
That's it.
It'll have to be for now.
All right, I don't want to buck you guys. I got nothing to hide, but I get the same feeling when somebody won't cash a check for me.
Yeah.
It galls me to think I'm lined up as a bad risk.
We're not accusing you of anything. Now, we'd appreciate your cooperation, but trying to keep this in mind. We'll still get what we came here for. Now, you make the choice how you want it.
Okay, what are you after? Hot lawnmowers?
You said you made deliveries, is that right?
Yeah.
Do you keep a record of the calls you make?
Sure.
Can we see the record?
Yeah, if you want, the book's over at the desk in the drawer. I'll get it.
I'll get it.
What'd you expect? I was going to pull a gun out of the drawer?
That's the one?
Yeah.
Here you are, Joe.
Thanks. These all the calls for today?
That's right.
Austin, Kemper. When'd you make these calls?
What time?
That's right.
Well, Kemper this morning, Austin this afternoon.
They're the only ones you made today, huh?
Yeah. Wait a minute. Let me see the book a second.
All right.
Isn't here. I guess I forgot to enter it.
What's that?
Another call I made.
Where was that?
On Norwood Street, 906, I think it was.
Remember the name?
Pilson.
What time were you there?
I'm not sure. 9:30 or so, I guess.
Who'd you talk to?
Nobody. Didn't see anyone around.
Did you go in the house?
Why?
Did you?
Yeah, I rang the bell a couple of times, and I knocked.
Yeah.
Well, I thought maybe they were in the back of the house and couldn't hear me. The door was open a little, so I walked in.
Yeah.
Went in the front room, called out, didn't get any answer, so I left.
You didn't leave the front room?
That's right.
Did you see anybody?
I told you I didn't. What more do you want?
You said you called out.
Yeah?
How loud?
What do you mean?
Loud enough to wake a person sleeping in a back bedroom, maybe?
Well, I guess so. No one answered. It came out. I know that.
All right.
Well, was there someone there when I called?
That's right.
Well, ask them then. I don't know what you're getting at. I walked into a house. I didn't do anything wrong there. If there was someone there, ask them.
Be a little hard to do.
Huh?
He's dead. We took Para back to the office and questioned him further. He continued to maintain his innocence. We ran his name through R&I and found a package for him showing one arrest for suspicion of ADW as a juvenile. We booked him on suspicion of 187 PC, murder, and Frank and I went back to his shop. We thoroughly searched both the building and his truck, but we failed to turn up either the ring or the watch. Thursday morning, Leighton Prince reported that they'd found no fingerprints in the house other than those of the victim and his wife. We got a call from Ray Pinker in the crime lab. He said that George Pilson had been beaten about the head with some type of round instrument. He also substantiated our theory that there had been a little struggle on the part of the victim. We called the county morgue, and Dr. Cephalou said he'd notify us as soon as he posted the body. 11:26 a.m.
Joe?
Mm-hmm.
Just checking over these time elements.
Yeah.
Mrs. Pilson left at 9. It's gone about an hour and a half. The neighbors saw Para leave the house at 10, right?
Yeah.
And if Mordell is right about how long he was gone from his front window, Para could have been there about 20 minutes.
That's the way it checks out.
Well, give him enough time, don't you think?
Well, we still got to figure maybe he's telling us the truth.
Yeah.
And if he is, that gives us several possibilities. When Pilson didn't answer, maybe it's because he couldn't.
Yeah, I see what you mean.
I got it. Homicide Friday. Yeah. It was, didn't it? Yeah. I see. Right. Be right over. It's Doc Cephalou. Just finished posting the body.
Yeah.
It's possible that Pilson wasn't killed by the head blows.
What do you mean?
Might have been dead before he was hit. We went over to the morgue. Dr. Cephalou said he'd found evidence of a barbiturate in the victim's body in a quantity large enough to kill him. He also pointed out that the lack of profuse bleeding from the head wounds led him to believe that the victim was dead before the beating occurred. Frank and I drove out to the Pilson residence. We talked to the victim's wife. We explained to her that it was necessary that we know more about her husband's physical condition prior to his death. We went into the front room and sat down.
Try to answer your questions, but today I'm just beginning to realize what it's going to be like being alone.
Yes, ma'am, we can understand that. We'll try to be as brief as possible.
Thank you.
Now, has your husband been under a doctor's care recently?
No.
Had he been in good mental spirits?
Yes?
He didn't seem unusually worried about anything.
Not that I know of.
Well, now, would you tell us about yourself, Miss Pilson?
Well, what do you mean?
Well, have you been under a doctor's care recently?
No. What has all this to do with my husband's death?
Well, we'd like to know if there would be any reason for you or your husband to have a prescription for a strong barbiturate in the house.
A what?
A sedative, ma'am.
You mean to make you sleep?
That's right.
No. We did never use them.
Then you haven't had any in the house recently.
Well, I haven't. I don't think George did.
Would it be possible that your husband could have used a barbiturate and you didn't know about it?
Yes. But if he did, I'm sure he'd have told me. We didn't have secrets from each other.
I see.
I'll get it.
All right.
Oh, Marie, you poor thing. I just got back and heard the terrible news and came right over.
Thank you, Lydia. But you'll come back later.
Well, sure, dear. Is there anything I can do for you?
Maybe, but I can't talk now.
All right, Marie. Are the police here?
Yes. So won't you come back later?
Have you told them?
Yes.
You told them what George tried to do?
Yes.
Excuse me, ma'am. Couldn't help overhearing your conversation.
Oh, you're the policeman?
That's right.
Yes, ma'am.
I'm Marie's neighbor.
Yes, we understand. What did you mean about Mr. Pilson trying to do something?
Well, she didn't mean anything. She was just talking.
Now, let's let her tell us, shall we?
Maybe I shouldn't have said anything.
What did you mean, ma'am?
Maybe it's not important.
Why don't you tell us anyway?
George tried to kill Marie.
We brought the neighbor, Lydia Shires, into the house for further questioning. She explained that she was a close friend of Marie Pilson's. It was quite evident that Mrs. Pilson didn't want her friend to talk to us.
If I had any idea I was going to cause all this trouble, I'd never come over. I only meant to help Marie.
Would you tell us why you said that Mr. Pilson was trying to kill his wife?
Sure, but Marie can tell you better than I can. Oh, now, honey, don't get upset. It's going to work out all right. Well, I'll tell you what I know, but Marie will have to fill in the details.
All right, go ahead, please.
Last week it was, she came over to my house, terribly worried. She was afraid she was going to have another nervous breakdown.
Oh, please don't, Lydia, please don't.
Now, don't fret, dear. We all want to help you.
Miss Pilson, once more, had you been under a doctor's care recently?
It was George, her husband, that made her sick. She kept telling her she was going crazy, said she was going to die. Finally, she got to believe in the things he was saying.
Yeah.
That's when she had the breakdown.
How long ago was this?
About 3 weeks ago.
All right, go ahead, will you?
Well, George got these pills for her, something for her nerves to make her rest.
Yeah.
That may be our office, I'll guess.
All right.
Hello? That's right. No, he isn't. You want to tell me who's calling? Would you like to leave a message? All right. No, my name's Smith. She hung up. Woman asking for Mr. Pilson.
Did she give her name?
No, said she was a friend of the family.
It was her. I know it. I wish I'd talked to her.
Who was it, Miss Pilson?
I don't know her name, but she lied. She's no friend of mine. She caused all this.
How do you mean?
That's why George was trying to kill me. With me out of the way, he could have her. She'd come and live in my home.
You never told me about her.
I still had some pride.
All right, now this medicine your husband got, was it a barbiturate?
Yes. That's how he was going to kill me.
Where did he get the pills?
I don't know. George would come in and sit on my bed in the early morning. When he'd come in from work, he'd wake me up, tell me I was going to lose my mind.
Yeah.
Time after time he did it. I began to think he was right. I couldn't remember doing things.
That's when you started taking these pills, huh?
Yes, that's right.
I see.
He'd put them in my food or in my drink.
You sure he did that?
Yes. I counted the capsules in the bottle every time I took one. Got so I couldn't remember if I'd taken them or not, so I counted them.
Mm-hmm.
I wrote the number down on paper so I'd be sure. Some were always missing. I knew he'd been giving them to me.
All right, go ahead.
That's when I told Lydia about it. She said to stop.
Is that right, Miss Shire?
Yeah, I told her not to take any more.
Did you stop taking the sedative?
Yes. I told George about what Lydia said. He got mad and said I shouldn't have gone to her. Then he started telling me I'd go crazy if I didn't take them. He kept after me.
Is that why you killed him, Miss Pilson?
Can't mean Marie did it.
He kept after me. I knew he was trying to get rid of me. He'd stay out all night when he wasn't working.
Did he tell you about the other woman?
No, he didn't have to. I knew. A couple of times she called here. I answered the phone. When she heard my voice, she hung up.
So you gave him the pills you'd been taking, is that it?
To make him sleep. I always had a sandwich when he came home from work. I fixed it before I went to bed.
When'd you strike him?
When I came home from the market, I suppose. You'll want the weapon, won't you?
Yeah, on the watch and the ring, too.
All right.
Marie, how could you do it?
Had to be. He was going to kill me. She was going to live at my home with my children. Lydia.
Yeah.
I want you to take my family.
What?
My elephants. I want you to have them.
All right, Marie.
You want to tell us where the weapon is, Miss Pelson?
All right. I didn't believe George, that he was telling the truth.
Yeah.
He told me this would happen.
What's that?
He said I was crazy.
The story you've just heard is true. The names were changed to protect the innocent.
On November 3rd, trial was held in Department 97, Superior Court of the State of California, in and for the County of Los Angeles. Marie Ellen Pilson was examined by 3 psychiatrists appointed by the state and found to be insane. She was confined to Mendocino State Hospital for the criminally insane for treatment.
You have just heard Dragnet, the authentic story, your police force in action, and starring Jack Webb, a presentation of the United States Armed Forces Radio Service.
Novak For Hire. Sure, I'm Pat Novak For Hire. That's what the sign out in front of my office says. Pat Novak For Hire. Down on the waterfront in San Francisco, you don't get prizes for being subtle. If you want to make a living down here, you got to get your hand in the till any way you can. You rob Peter to pay Paul, and then you put it on the cup. So I rent boats and tell a few white lies if the price is right. It's a happy life, if you don't mind looking up at a headstone, because sooner or later you draw trouble a size too big. I found that out Tuesday night. It was raining, and the street was as deserted as a warm bottle of beer. It must have been about 11 o'clock when I came out of the office and started down the waterfront. As I got near the corner, I stopped. An old man stepped out of the darkness and started across the street. It was a short trip because a car started up down the street, and the old man couldn't have made it with a pocket full of aces. I started over to him. The car slowed down for a minute and then turned the corner and disappeared. As it passed under the streetlight, I caught a glimpse of the license plate in a dull, surprised way, the way you'd grab a feather out of an angel's wing. I bent over the old man and rolled him on his back. He didn't seem to be in pain. He was just an old man with the frightened look of a small boy in a storm, who was breathing hard as I cushioned his head.
Please help me. Can you please help me?
That's a big order, mister.
I must talk to you.
Well, if you've got any good quotes, you better get them off your chest fast.
In my pocket. Inside my pocket. You please put your hand.
Yeah. In here?
Yeah.
Sure. 2 envelopes. What about them?
One is money for you. You have the other one?
So far.
The other one please keep sealed. And you will give it to John St. John?
John St. John.
Yeah.
Well, where's he live?
I don't understand. It's not... I want to tell you. You don't understand.
He was right on that one. I didn't understand a thing, except he slipped out of my arms and stopped paying taxes. I dragged him over the side, and I went through his stuff. There was nothing there. No identification. Just a card with an address out on Haight Street. I opened the envelope, and $300 tumbled into my breast pocket. The other one was sealed. There was no name on it, but up in the corner there was some kind of marking. It looked like two crosses spliced together. There wasn't anything I could do for him except pray, and I owe some back dues. So I went back to my office and called police headquarters. I told them where the old man was, and then I checked in the phone book. There was no John St. John listed. Well, it wasn't going to be easy to find him, and I only had two leads, that license number and the address on Haight Street. So I looked up the only honest guy I know, an ex-doctor and a boozer by the name of Jocko Madigan. A good guy, but to him a hangover is the price of being sober. I finally found him singing in a Mason Street bar. Jocko, I want to talk to you.
Ah, Patsy, you're just in time for the counterpoint. I'm singing a song, a little sentimental thing from my childhood.
Yeah, well, it'll keep. I got a problem.
You'll always have a problem, Patsy, because you can't keep out of trouble. You know that, don't you? You have no self-control.
All right, Jocko.
You have no more self-control than a bucket of mercury dumped on a marble staircase.
All right, now, shall we check the bright talk? I just saw a guy get killed.
Oh, you're like some violent disorder in nature, some large but unprofitable storm. You keep whirling in circles, Patsy. If you ever go more than 10 feet in one direction, it's because some woman is 9 feet away. Then it begins all over again.
Are you all through?
Yes, get to the point. That's another of your troubles. You never get to the point.
I just saw a guy killed 10 minutes ago.
How would that interest me? Are you selling an eyewitness account?
Some old guy got killed down on the Embarcadero. He checked out 15 feet away from me.
Who killed him?
I don't know.
Why do you care? Professional jealousy?
Some car came out of nowhere and clipped him.
You sure it wasn't an accident?
Yeah, just like the Berlin blockade. Will you stop needling me, Jocko? I told you a guy got killed. He was murdered right in front of me. I got to find a guy called John St. John.
How, St. John?
John St. John. I don't feel like vaudeville tonight, Jocko. The old man gave me $300 to deliver a letter, and I made him a promise.
Well, you can break it now with only the slightest risk.
I got the license number of the car. Now, I want you to hop down and look it up. And then check at headquarters to see if the guy's got a record, will you?
I don't like policemen. They depress me.
Check it. I got to go out to Haight Street. What kind of neighborhood is it out there?
Well, it's not exactly a neighborhood. It's more like an architectural afterthought, a lingering defense against the early California bear.
All right. No speeches. Just check on that license plate, huh? Now, if I'm not at my place, try this address.
Yes, that's always very interesting at this time of night. Good night, lover.
Jocko was right about the neighborhood. When I left him, I doubled by my place and left the envelope. I put it inside another envelope and stashed it behind some books, and then I headed out to look up John St. John. Oh, it must have been about midnight when I got there, and it was the kind of a neighborhood where a for rent sign reads like a ransom note. I found the place, though. It was an old rooming house, a third-floor apartment. I knocked at the door, and when she opened it, I knew it was time to wire home for money. A tall, blonde blister with lots of Fahrenheit. She stood there leaning against the door, smiling, looking at you as if you had gold-plated muscles. It gave you a weak feeling where your dinner ought to be. And her voice came right out of the oven.
Well, you're that kind of lady.
Yeah, I'm looking for a guy named John St. John.
Oh? Won't you come into my cobweb?
Sure. For a spider, you're nice and chubby.
Oh, a Spider-Man. My name's Lee Norton. You want to write it down?
I'm Pat Novak. I'm looking for a guy named John St. John.
You seem to be running a temperature on the subject. Sit down?
Yeah, the couch will do.
I'll bet you carry rainy nights in your pocket.
All right, now let's get out of the woods, Angel. I'm looking for a guy.
I know you're wearing out the past. I don't know a John St. John.
A dead man was carrying around your address.
He was? That seems rather futile.
Yeah, an old guy about 60. He got killed crossing the street.
He should have had a Boy Scout then. I don't know anything about him, Mr. Novak. Despite occasional temptations, I don't collect 60-year-old men.
Well, he was looking around your address. Why?
I don't know. Maybe he admired me from afar, like a sunset or something.
No, he stopped admiring sunsets about 20 years ago.
I see. What are you, the avenging angel?
He gave me a sealed envelope.
And you were supposed to give it to a man named John St. John.
That's right. He gave me $300 to ease the pain.
I forget that. You don't look like the charitable type.
He was a nice old guy, so I'm going to find his boy.
Maybe I could help you.
But you got a clear, fast track. Let's see you go.
Well, I told you I don't know John St. John, but I'll do this much.
Yeah, I know. You're going to be big-hearted and offer to take that letter just in case you ever meet someone named John St. John.
What? You brought along your crystal ball.
Your hand's shaking, baby.
Maybe it's the wind. You better hold it.
You need a handrail, friend.
Yeah? What are your plans?
I'm open-minded about it.
You're a nice Spider-Man.
Yeah. The wind's getting a little worse, isn't it?
Yeah. Wish you'd act a little more surprised, though.
I'm not. When I walked in, I could see you had both arms broken. Did you pay the rent this month?
Keep the kettle on. I'll only be a moment.
Hello, Lee. If we're early, just give us a magazine.
No, come on in. Well, just enough for some bridge.
You're right. You're only gone for a moment. Who are your friends?
Oh, now, don't sulk.
Did they lock the manhole before they left home?
His name's Novak.
Yeah? That's a pretty name. It don't rhyme with anything, but it's pretty, huh, Joe?
Yeah, it's all right.
Let's have the letter, Novak.
You got hold of a bad rumor, fella.
The one I got's good. Let's have it.
I don't want to strain your mind, Junior, but try to understand. I don't have a letter.
Ask him again.
Go on home, mister. You're not going to get anything out of me except a small tip. Now, if you're a good boy, I'll give you a nickel for your friend, too.
All right, Joe. Hold him up. Yeah. Just a minute. He's got a head of hair. Hold him up.
All right, Mike. That's enough. That's enough.
All right, baby. Don't look so sorry you can't have everything.
It's easy to sleep if you got the right friends. When those two dollops were through, I hit the floor and made Rip Van Winkle look like an insomnia victim. I didn't like the floor, but it was in better shape than my face. I don't know how long I was there, but it must have been a couple of hours. I rolled over once and tried to get up, but it was like trying to barbecue a cake of ice. There was a sick, sweet smell in the room. I tried to place it, but my nose was out on strike, so I went to sleep again. The next thing I knew, it sounded like New Year's Eve.
Here you go, Patsy. Up on the couch.
What's the matter?
Nothing. If you're the kitchen stove, the room's full of gas.
Oh.
You ought to open the window if you're going to turn on the gas.
Some of my playmates, I guess.
Well, you weren't at the apartment, so I tried here.
Yeah. What time is it?
2:00. Who got the quaint idea of the gas chamber?
The girlfriend. It was love at first sight.
I see. Let's go home to bed.
I'm getting used to floors. That old man started a ball game, Jocko. When I mentioned John St. John to this girl, she turned banker and brought in the Gunsels.
Did she get the letter?
I left it at home.
Oh, you're getting smart.
Yeah. $300 worth. They lifted my dough.
Well, you couldn't have used it where you were going.
Yeah.
I've checked on that hit-and-run car. It's listed under the name of Sidney Bronson.
Has he got a record?
No.
Everybody's a beginner. Well, let's go home.
Oh, it'll be dull, but you'll get used to it. Wait till I wash my hands.
Yeah, go ahead.
Patsy?
Yeah?
What did your girlfriend look like? Was she the lively type?
Yeah. Why? What's the matter?
Because she's not anymore.
Yeah. Those Gunsels play rough.
She's kind of pretty. What did she do besides sending out vibrations?
I don't know. But she knew all about John St. John.
Yes?
She picked up the bait like a hungry bass. Also, look at that ring.
How'd you get around to that?
The insignia on it. The same one that's on that envelope, spliced crosses.
Let's go home, Patsy. The police will be here.
Yeah. Even Hellman will know she's dead. Come on, we better go. On your way out the door, Jocko, try it sideways because I think it's blocked.
Hello, Novak. You look pale.
It's my color scheme. What do you care, Hellman?
None. She looks peaceful.
Yeah, be quiet or you'll wake her up.
I'll tiptoe. She always cut her throat before she goes to sleep. Who is she, Novak?
I don't know.
It's awful cozy here for a bunch of perfect strangers.
I don't know every dead girl in town, Hellman. You'll have to check.
You can still ride, can't you, Novak? That's all you'll need down at headquarters. Come on.
Oh, get out of the haze, Hellman. You don't know who's dead yet, but you're going to book somebody.
Yeah. What are you doing up here, appraising the joint?
I came up to find a guy named John St. John.
She doesn't look like a guy named John St. John.
She was my lead. I came up here to smell out a rat. She had a half Nelson on me when two gunsels walked in.
They came up to fix the gas meter, I think.
You stay out of this.
I'll make every effort.
Now, if you're smart, you'll fingerprint this place, Hellman. These boys were cute. They've been in somebody's jail.
I'll handle my job. You stick to murder.
You'll go a long way to pin this on me, Hellman.
I can go a long way, Novak.
Not with what you got to drag.
We get a call in the middle of the night. Come up here and find you standing over a dead girl.
That's right.
And you want me to sprinkle powder all over. Back up and take a better look, Novak.
Oh, the view's fine, Hellman, and if you'll take a good look, you'll know why. You haven't got anything to give the DA except a slim lead and a fat hand. You're going to need help.
Not on this one.
You need help to find the street. Come on back to center, Hellman. Even with both hands, you couldn't
Yeah?
Forget it.
So take the medicine like a good boy. I'm not going to walk out and let the two of you tour the town. I'm going to book one or both of you on a murder charge.
All right. Book Jocko here, then.
I love you in a generous mood.
You got a string, then, Hellman. Somebody's got to find John St. John.
Who's going to find Jocko?
Oh, stop worrying. I'll bail you out.
You haven't got the right size heart, Novak. You'll let him die on the vine.
Hellman, sometimes you're guilty of unexpected wisdom. I know it's reflex action, but it's consoling anyway.
I want you, Novak. I want you bad. I'll take this guy as a down payment, but I'm going to close out with you. Remember that.
I will.
All right. Come on, mister.
Wait a minute. Patsy, you're not going to let him lug me off like this.
What else can I do? The guy likes you. It was a bum curve to throw Jocko, but somebody had to dig us out of a hole. Jocko wasn't the boy. You can't shovel dirt with a bar rag. Well, I had no idea where to start. There were two murders, and they were both tied up with this John St. John. He didn't look like a good guy to know. Then there was that insignia, too. The one on the letter and the one on the girl's ring. Sure, it could be a coincidence, but that's what they said about Bluebeard. The only thing I could do was open that letter, so I went back to the apartment. I didn't have to turn on the light. They were running in pairs tonight. She was sitting there on the couch, proud of a pair of long silk legs and smiling like a guy who knows he's got $1 million in the bank. She was blonde, too. A little more lemon juice, maybe, but blonde anyway. She was nice and comfortable, and I got the idea she just signed a lease.
Good evening. How do you do?
Not very well so far.
A sly remark, Mr. Novak?
No, I'm just bringing you up to date. Your girlfriend's dead.
Yes?
Yeah. The gas jet's out in the kitchen.
It is? I think that's supposed to be mysterious.
You clear it up, then. Find a name for yourself and a reason why you picked out my furniture.
Oh? Do you mind my being here?
I just want to know your name before I throw you out in the hall.
Mr. Novak, I'll bet you're awfully slow when it comes to throwing somebody out in the hall.
Not if they can bounce as well as I figure you can.
When you do throw me out, throw the letter out, too.
All right, now, I've already had a dress rehearsal. The answer's no.
Well, at least I know where you stand. By the way, why are you standing? Please sit down.
Yeah. Who's John St. John?
Don't be redundant, Mr. Novak.
Who is he? If you want that letter, you know him.
Just shout. I'd like you better if you could.
I don't need your vote. Who's John St. John?
I don't know him.
You want that letter because you collect stamps.
I want it. And you'll have to take my word. I don't know John St. John. Be worth breaking your heart over.
Look, there's a good guy down in the clink sweating on a murder rap for me, so I want John St. John.
You've got nice friends.
Who's Sidney Bronson?
How does that fit into the picture?
This started with a waterfront corpse. The leftovers belonged to an old guy that was hit by a car. The car's registered in the name of Sidney Bronson.
Mr. Novak, you seem so intense. It's a pity to waste it on random speculation.
Now, look, I told you, lady, I got a friend in the jug.
Loyalty's a nice trait. One of your nicest.
Yeah.
You're a pretty thing, Patsy.
Let's don't get fooled by the rapper.
I'll take a chance.
Anybody ever brief you on trouble?
Mm-hmm. You're hard to see that far away. Come on over into focus, Patsy.
Yeah.
You're pretty, Patsy.
You look like you're on a bill of sale.
I'm a gentle, kind Novak. I'd just like to break your ribs.
Go ahead. I can get a brace.
Come here.
Yeah. What's on your mind?
What you're going to say when you find out about this gun?
Huh?
That's right, sweetheart. My finger isn't hollow.
Back up and take a look at the gun.
You got to that purse, huh?
That's right.
You've ruined my confidence.
I'll give you a testimonial. In the meantime, I want the letter.
You go after everything the same way.
I want the letter.
It's in the desk. Come on. Right here in the top of the door. All right.
Go, stay away from...
I'm already here, lady. All right, now come on, drop the gun, sis.
Let go of my arms now.
That's your version.
Let go of me. Let go of me. What was that for?
A little something on the house. Now beat it.
Well, you've ruined my confidence.
You're lucky. Go on home.
You won't change your mind about that letter?
No.
Suit yourself. I'll be going. Oh, Patsy?
Yeah?
I can't help you on John St. John, but I wouldn't worry about that fellow, Sidney Bronson.
Why?
Because I'm Sidney Bronson. See you soon, Patsy.
That one sink in for a minute, but it got about as far as my brain and ran out of gas. She wasn't driving that murder car. Otherwise, she wouldn't get that talkie. It began to look like a big, fat, well-fed double-cross, and John St. John was holding up his end. I had to find out what was in that letter, so I made tracks for the bookcase. All I could do was browse because the letter was gone. Whoever took it didn't even leave a tip. I thought of the girl, but that didn't make sense. And I thought of John St. John. That made lots of sense. Things didn't look rosy for me or Jocko. I was about to buy a file and bake a cake when the phone rang. Yeah.
Hello, Novak.
Oh, Hellman.
The coroner got a report on that dead girl. She died at 12:30.
That's pretty close. What's he got, a stopwatch?
15 minutes either way. Those fingerprints panned out, too.
Yeah?
A couple of L.A. strong-arm men.
Well, that's new for L.A. You got a call out?
We already picked them up. Your favorite's named Welcome Danglers.
I could make a joke.
I already got one. They're set up with a perfect alibi for 12:30.
That means I killed the girl.
Nobody's arguing. I got some more news.
Yeah?
I'm out at Seal Rock.
You got the figure for it.
We just found an envelope floating around the water. It's one of yours. You better come on out.
You found an envelope, so what?
So the envelope turns out to be in some guy's pocket. Come on out.
Well, that only meant one thing. Whoever took that envelope out of my place got popular. It was getting late, so I grabbed a cab and rode out to the beach. When I got there, Hellman was standing down near the water. He had Jocko with him. The surf was rolling in, and Jocko wasn't much better.
Hello, Patsy.
Hiya, Jocko. How's jail?
Dry. Thanks for coming, Novak. You're sweet.
Where's the envelope?
Here.
Yeah, the same one.
That makes you look good.
There was a letter in here. Did you take that with the guy's money, Hellman?
You got all there is.
This guy on the beach is the third one.
It's my opinion the case will solve itself. We're running out of people.
Who is the guy?
His name's Walter Avery. Here's his stuff.
Yeah, what's left? Well, this spliced cross really gets around.
Huh?
It keeps bobbing up. Here it is on the guy's fountain pen.
I'm going to run this guy through the morgue, and then I'm going to look you up, Novak.
Yeah?
Sure. We want you down with us.
That's right, Patsy. I'll introduce you to all the best people. Good night, lover.
Well, it was close to 5, so I tagged by my place for some sleep. I tossed around like a fish on the living room rug. Hellman called about 9 to throw more dust in my eyes. He said one of the airlines had a passenger to Portland named Walter Avery. Just to make it tough, the guy made the 12 o'clock plane and got off at Portland. Well, I had left field all to myself. I got dressed and looked up Sidney Bronson's number. There was no answer, so I went over. The place was locked, and I looked up the janitor. He wasn't going to let me in, but it turned out his wife had a birthday coming up. Sidney's apartment was real high-powered. I don't know where she got the dough, but I knew I wasn't going to find a tin cup and pencil. What I found was lots better. A card with that same insignia, the spliced cross. The card said, Bellcrest Sanitarium, and down in the corner there was a guy's name, Dr. Emil Schoenig, psychiatrist. Vienna without the waltz. The Bellcrest Sanitarium was down near San Carlos, so I borrowed a new Nash from a guy I know and headed down that way. Everything was fine until I got in the front door. They didn't even let me register. woke up on a couch in Schoenig's office. It was dark outside, and my left arm was throbbing like a love story in a woman's magazine. The radiator sitting next to me was Sidney.
You're a deep sleeper.
I think I got some help. What happened to my arm?
Hypodermic. You only need one arm anyway.
In your case, I need a spare. Who did it?
Dr. Schoenig.
He's a darling boy. Where is he?
Out on the phone trying to figure out what to do with you.
What's that make me, a patient?
Well, that's one way of putting it. You made things easy. We were coming to you for the letter.
You want to try that over again?
We were on our way when you stumbled in.
You're wrong, Sid. Somebody's giving you a fast pitch. That letter was gone when you were up at my place.
I don't want a bum rib, Patsy. I want that letter.
You're trailing a field, Angel. I told you the letter's gone. A guy by the name of Walter Avery took it out of my place.
Walter Avery?
That's right, and somebody thanked him. They found him this morning making like a dead seal.
Walter Avery left for Portland last night.
A plant, sweetheart. You better read up on your friends.
Yeah. Thanks, Patsy.
I told you to watch it, Sid. You had more shots.
What's the difference?
None, I suppose. Why don't you mix us a drink while I talk to Mr. Novak?
I'll be right with you.
Well, Mr. Novak, you're one of my best patients.
That's because I like your needles. You better go easy on that drink.
Yes? Why?
You'll get drunk and run somebody down the way you did that guy on the waterfront.
Oh? A good guess. You should be proud. That's a good, sensible, final emotion.
Here's your drink, Abel.
Thank you, my dear. It's to Mr. Novak. Sorry there's no drink for you, Mr. Novak.
You probably will be.
Huh?
Forget it.
Emil, I talked to Mr. Novak before you came in. He thinks you're a heel.
He does.
So do I.
Oh, I can stand it.
He told me about Walter Avery.
I'm sorry about that.
Walter got that letter. You killed him and took it. I was supposed to blunder around till you got rid of me, too. That's a bum joke, Emil.
You're getting hysterical.
With laughter, Emil. You put one of your boys on that plane. Only Novak aired the wash too fast.
Suppose I did. Somebody ought to bring you up to date, Sidney. You've been hanging on too long. The free ride's over. I might as well tell you now. You're all through. I can't a whole bunch of longer. And I'm all through.
Steady, Emil.
What's the matter with me? What's the matter with me, Sid?
Give him a hand, Novak. He just had a bad drink.
You wouldn't do that.
I'm full of surprises. You got a stomach full of poison. You got a stomach full of poison in 15 seconds, Abel. Put down that gun, Abel.
I want you to, Sid.
Please, Abel, put down the gun.
I will stop it. Stop. This happened kind of fast for an of us.
What's the noise, huh, Patsy?
Yeah. I'll get you a pillow.
I'd rather have your lap.
You get mercy, not love, baby.
Thanks for small favors. How do I look?
Not so good. That was the 3-2 pitch.
Yeah, I had it coming up. I'll tell you about John St. John.
I know. There was no such guy.
That's right. It was the name of the group.
Those spliced crosses?
Yes. Found out a little late. It's always that way. That's the way I found out about you.
Yeah?
Had a funny hunch about you and me. I found out a little late. But I know now, Patsy. Does that help?
St. John was the name of an organization buying and selling government information. That old man tried to tell me, but he checked out too fast. I began to figure something like that when those spliced crosses started showing up. Schoenig killed the old man in Sidney's car. He couldn't stop because I was around. The two girls and Walter Avery were both in on the deal. Schoenig knew who I was when he saw me go into my office. He tailed me to my place and left Avery there to look for the letter. He killed that girl up in the rooming house, and then he found out she didn't have the letter. When Avery showed up, he took it away from him and threw him to the fish. Schoenig was trying to shake Sidney by sending her up to my place after he had the letter. The scheme went haywire when I showed up at the sanitarium. He was trying to Worked himself out of that one when the payoff came. John St. John? Yeah, right from the start, Jocko said he was either dead or in the state pen, because anybody with a name like John St. John would have killed his parents as soon as he got old enough to find out about it. Worked out all right. They found the letter out at Schoenig's place. There were some plans for guided missiles and a few other trifles. Well, Hellman asked only one question. How come Schoenig didn't kill me before I could talk to the girl? Well, it's always that way with a guy who commits murder. Either he goes too far or he doesn't go far enough.
Forces Radio Service has just brought you Pat Novak For Hire, starring Jack Webb. Pat Novak is produced by William P. Russo. Jocko Madigan is played by Tudor Owen. Inspector Hellman is played by Raymond Burr. Music was composed and conducted by Basil Adams. Be with us again next week when over most of these same stations we'll bring you Pat Novak For Hire. Pat Novak For Hire was previously released by ABC, the American Broadcasting Company, for listeners in the United States, and rebroadcast for our men and women overseas. This is the United States Armed Forces Radio Service, the voice of information and education.
Dragnet. You're a detective sergeant. You're assigned a robbery detail. You get a call that a flower shop has been held up. 2 men have been shot. 1 of them killed. Your job? Check it out.
It was Tuesday, June 8th. It was warm in Los Angeles. We were working the day watch out of robbery detail. My partner's Frank Smith. The boss is Chief of Detective Staff Brown. My name's Friday. We were on our way out from the office, and it was 10:15 a.m. when we got to the corner of 7th Street and Bunker Hill Avenue. The Stoneham Flower Shop.
Back there.
Oh.
Wasn't any way for me to know what it was all about till it was too late.
Yes, sir.
Just stood there, didn't move around, just stood. Oh, you fellas want to see me?
Police officers. This is Frank Smith. My name is Friday.
Central?
That's right.
Roberts, 1 of 16. You answer the call?
Yeah.
I'm the fellow that shot the cook, you know.
Yes, sir. Did you get a description?
Yeah, it's out. Metro sending a couple of cars to help us look for the suspect.
Very good.
Anything else I can do for you?
No, not right now.
Okay, I'll get on outside then.
Right, thank you. You'll take care of the report then, won't you?
Yeah.
Okay, we'll check with you.
Good. Nice fella.
Yes, sir.
Could have used him back to home.
Sir?
Good man like that. Could have used him.
What do you mean?
Ran a detective agency back home. Had a couple of men sleuthing around. He made a good one.
Mm-hmm. Would you tell us what happened here?
Ain't nobody done that yet?
No, sir. We just got a hotshot call. There'd been a robbery and shooting. We came right out from the office.
You heard about it?
No, sir.
Well, don't you worry. I'll fill you both in and give you the whole story.
All right, sir, if you would.
Abner Stossett.
What's that, sir?
Full name's Abner Davis Stossett. After Jeff.
Who?
Jefferson Davis, the president.
Oh.
Don't usually use the middle name. People out here don't seem to understand three, just front and back. Abner Stossett.
Yes, sir. All right. Now, if you tell us what happened.
They shot Danville.
That's the victim.
Yep. Shot him right here, just above spleen. Here.
How'd it happen?
It looked like 38 automatic.
Well, yes, sir, but what led up to the shooting?
Two fellas, they tried to rob it. Tried it with the wrong two men, tell you that. Out loud.
Sir?
Tell you that out loud.
Oh, I see. You want to go on?
Well, same thing every morning.
Yes, sir.
We make up the deposit slip, take the money to the bank. You're the one who does the writing, don't have to do the walking. This time, Danville Road, I was going to make the trip.
Yes, sir.
I was about to leave. These two young guys come in the place. First off, I figured they want to buy some flowers, something like that.
Yes, sir.
Danville was going to take care of them. Excuse me a minute, will you?
Yes, sir. Go right ahead.
Stone and Flores? Yes, sir. Oh, no, we can take care of it for you. That's right. Where do you want them sent? Now, just let me check the book here a minute. Walnut Creek. Yep, we can do it for you. No, sir, we'll send them by wire. Well, they'll be delivered in about an hour. That's right. You want the long stems? Yeah, well, they're $7.50 a dozen. That's right. Yes, you want to give me the charge information on that card? Yes, sir. And how do you spell that? Yes, sir, the number? No, sir, the one on the lower right. Yeah, it's 726. All right, is there a message? No, not at all, sir. I think it's real pretty. Yeah. No, they'll put the card in. We just wire the order. They'll be very nice. Yes, sir. Thank you. Call us again. That's right. Bye. Got to send some roses up to Walnut Creek. Birthday for a girl named Irma.
Wonder if we get back to what happened here.
Oh, yeah. Well, these two fellas came in. They just stood there with their feet kind of spread out like they just got off a boat, Stood there, just looked around.
Was there anybody else in the store?
Just Danville and me.
I see. What'd the men say to you?
Only one of them talked, the dark one. He asked me if there's anybody in the back, at workroom back there. I told him there wasn't, and that's when he showed me the pistol. Stood there in high cotton, waving it around, told me to hand over the bag of money.
Were you carrying it at the time?
I told you that before. I was on my way to the bank.
Sir.
Danville wrote the slip I was going to the bank.
I understand. Now, what did he say when he showed you the gun?
Said it was a stick-up.
Do you remember his exact words?
That was kind of fast for me. Let me see. I think it was, don't try anything. It's a stick-up, like that he said it.
I see. Now, how'd the shooting start?
Well, Danville said he wasn't going to have no kid talk to him like that. He reached out, took a swing at the kid, a real roundhouse. Dark kid ducked back, pulled the trigger, shot Danville right here. Spleen. Dropped like a rock. I pulled out my gun and started shooting.
You always carry a gun?
When I'm going to the bank, you never know what's going to happen.
You have a permit?
It's against the law to carry a gun without permission, ain't it?
Yes.
Well, then I got it.
After you pulled your gun, what happened?
I shot.
Yeah, I can understand that.
Shot right at the dark fellow.
You hit him?
I don't often miss.
I see.
Hit him 3 times. Here in the chest.
What was the other man doing while this was happening?
He pulled out a gun, too, and the balloon went up. Bullets flying all over the place.
Yeah.
Then both of them took off, run out of the place. I followed them. Got to the door. The dark one turned around. Going to shoot at me again. Didn't move fast enough. I pulled the trigger, hit him right in the middle of the chest, went down like a dropped duck egg.
What about the other one?
He started running down the street. I guess about the only thing he was wanting was to get away.
Yeah.
Took 2 shots at him while he was running. I blazed away. Only had 2 more bullets in the gun. I gave them both to him.
You hit him?
Yeah, at least once, because I saw him jerk. It might have been both times. He kept running, though.
What'd you do then?
I come back in here, see what I could do for Danville, made him as comfortable as I could, and then I called the police. He came sliding up and took out after the fellow that got away. The ambulance came and picked up Danville and the other guy.
Yes, sir. Now, what if you could give us the description of the man who got away?
Yeah. Yes.
I'll call Georgia Street and check on the other suspect.
That ain't going to do no good.
What?
You don't have to inquire about him. He's dead.
You're sure about that?
Son, I know when somebody's dead.
Yes, sir.
I hit that fella 4 times in the chest with a .44. I saw him drop. About as much life as a sack of cornmeal. He was dead.
I'll check anyway.
All right.
Yeah, sure sorry.
What are you sorry about?
I say it's a real sorry that you can't work with that other young fellow that was in here. You know, the one in uniform. He was a bright boy.
Mm-hmm.
This fellow here, he couldn't even fill out an application for our agency.
Would you give us the description?
First line.
I beg your pardon?
I say he wouldn't even be able to fill out the first line. Didn't know who Jeff Davis was. Hard to believe.
Yeah, now about that description?
Well, fellow was about your height, weighed in maybe 150, around there.
Mm-hmm.
He had light hair, lighter at the top and down by his head like it was bleached in the sun.
Any marks or scars?
No, nothing that stand out. He had a kind of a flat face.
What about his clothes?
White shirt, kind of tan pants, carrying a leather jacket with the fur around the collar.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
Both of them had those.
Was there anything in the way they talked? An accent, maybe?
No, just North talk. I can't tell the difference much of the time.
Mm-hmm. Would you know the man if you saw him again?
You bet I would. Just stand him up in front of me and I'll lay it on, point him right out.
Mm-hmm. What'd you find out?
I talked to the hospital, Joe.
Yeah?
Are you sure you hit one of the suspects, mister?
Positive.
And he was on the sidewalk.
Saw him hit and die.
What's the matter?
Well, the ambulance only brought in one person.
Yeah.
The dead man's gone.
They put in a call to the hospital and made arrangements to talk to the ambulance crew. They told us that they'd only picked up one person at the scene. They went on to say that there wasn't another injured party on the premises anywhere. A check with the officer who answered the original call brought out the information that there hadn't been anybody on the sidewalk when the radio car had gotten there. Frank put out a local broadcast to all cars in the area, and I went back to talk to Abner Stossett.
I told you before, that boy ain't too bright.
Now, you're sure you shot that man?
Look, I'll go along with you and say maybe I did miss the first 3 times. That ain't likely, but just for the sake, I'll admit it.
All right, sir.
But I know I hit him outside. I was closer to him than I am to you. Ain't nobody could miss that close.
All right.
Come on outside. Take a look at the sidewalk. You tell me if it's my imagination.
All right, fine.
They got it out, Joe. All the cars in the area are looking for it.
All right, fine.
One thing I'm always proud of is the way I can shoot. I don't hardly ever miss. I know I didn't this time.
Mm-hmm.
Now, just look at that. Take a look. You tell me that's blood, ain't it?
Yes, sir, it looks like it.
It is. I was standing right here. Right here. He was there. He turned around, tried to shoot me. I fired at him. He went down right there. You can see where the big stain is. Right there.
Uh-huh. Well, how'd they get there?
What do you mean?
Well, did you see a car?
Yeah, I told the other cops about it. That's it right there. Drove up in it and got out.
Did you see him get out of the car?
Yeah, I was just leaving the store, and I saw him right after they come in the store.
All right, you want to check the car?
Yeah.
Now, don't go touching it. The cop said not to.
Mm-hmm. Was there anybody else who saw the man on the sidewalk?
You mean besides me?
That's right.
Not that I know of. As soon as I emptied my gun at the blonde fellow, I went back in the store. I stayed there till the police car pulled up.
Mm-hmm.
Not more than 3, maybe 4 minutes.
Yes, sir.
Not more. But I'm telling you, he was right here. Lying there, and he was dead.
Mm-hmm.
Crime lab's on the way out to check the car.
Mm-hmm. Well, looks like the suspect might have gotten up and walked away, doesn't it?
If he did, then it's really one for the books.
Trail of bloodstains here.
Yeah.
Never nothing like this happened back home. Back there, when you shoot somebody, he's got the courtesy to stay shot.
Trail stops.
Mm. Let's check over there and see if we can pick it up.
Yeah. How about it?
Nothing. It just stops, that's all.
Maybe somebody picked him up in the car.
Yeah, must be. Was there anybody else parked in front of the store at the time?
Not that I remember. You can see yourself. We got the sign where it says just for the customers.
You're absolutely sure there was nobody else?
If I wasn't, I'd have told this fellow.
Yes.
You didn't see the man get up off the sidewalk?
No, there wasn't no reason for me to look at him. As far as I was concerned, he was dead. Still ain't sure he wasn't.
Well, the trail of bloodstains showed that he did leave here.
It still don't sell me.
I better start a check of the neighborhood.
Right.
You want me to help you?
No, sir, that won't be necessary.
Mr. Friday.
Yes, sir.
Could I talk to you for a minute?
All right.
Alone?
Excuse me, Frank.
Yeah.
Mr. Friday, I saw that man fall. I saw him hit the sidewalk. I know he was hurt bad. He wasn't going to get up. I'm sure of it.
Yes, sir, we understand.
I told him all that. I just don't see how I could have made a mistake like that. That fella couldn't have gotten up. He's dead.
Yes, sir, we believe you, but he's not here.
That don't change a thing, my boy.
How's that?
He's dead someplace else, that's all.
And immediate search was started of all buildings in the area. If the suspect had walked away from the scene, the amount of blood on the sidewalk indicated he couldn't have gotten far without help. While Frank and I talked to the shopkeepers in the vicinity, a check was made of the car that the thieves had used. It was found to be stolen, and arrangements were made to talk to the owner. Members of the crime lab crew came out and checked the vehicle. They were unable to turn up anything we could use in identifying the holdup men. 11:28 a.m. Frank and I talked to the owner of a small tobacco shop.
Saw the whole thing.
Well, where were you during the shooting, Mr. Collard?
Right out in front. I looked down the street, and there it was, just like it was a cinemascope.
Now, sir, did you see the actual shooting?
Well, not the first. No, I was in here, behind the counter, fixing up a new bunch of pipes we just got in, putting them up on the board. All of a sudden, I heard this noise. First up, I thought it might be a backfire. Then I knew.
Yes, sir?
It wasn't. It was shots. So I went outside to see what was going on.
Mm-hmm.
Next thing I see is these three guys come out on the sidewalk, right in front of the flower shop, three of them.
Mm-hmm.
Abner and a couple more. One of them black-haired, the other was kind of blonde.
Yeah.
One of them tried to get Abner. Other one took off in this direction. I see Abner raise that gun of his and pointed at me, and I ducked inside.
Did one of the men go by here?
Yes, Abner shot at him a couple of times. Must have hit him, because I could see he was hurt when he run past.
Did you see where he went?
No. I told you, when those shots started to go by, I didn't want to wait around to see if one of them was monogrammed for me. I left.
All right. Can you tell us what direction the man took?
Not after he went for the door. Must have gone around the corner.
Well, why did you say that?
Oh, because when I went back out, I couldn't see him. If he'd gone up the street, I'd have been able to.
Now, did you see the man out in front of the store?
You mean Abner?
No, sir, the one he was shooting at.
Yeah, I got a pretty good look at him.
Where was he?
He was just lying there. He wasn't moving around much.
Did you see him get up?
No. What's all this about the other guy for?
Well, what do you mean?
The one Abner killed. Why all the questions about him?
Well, sir, he's gone.
You mean he got away?
Yes, sir, it looks that way.
Well, I don't see how that could be. I went right by him, a couple of feet away. There wasn't no life in him then. Nothing. He left there, and somebody had to carry him.
Yes, sir, that's the way it looks.
No reason for anybody to do it. The man was dead. There's no reason at all.
Well, there must have been one.
Why?
He's not there. Frank and I checked out the rest of the neighborhood, but we failed to turn up any information. None of the shopkeepers in the vicinity had seen where the blonde hold-up man had gone. All of them who had seen the man on the sidewalk were willing to testify that he was dead. Yet the physical evidence at the scene indicated that he'd gotten up under his own power and walked away carrying 4 bullets in his chest. 2:40 p.m. Frank and I returned to our car and began to cruise the streets in the area. 3:15 p.m.
Well, it doesn't look like we're going to find him.
Well, Frankie's got to be here someplace.
Unless somebody picked him up.
Yeah, that's possible.
Yeah.
Fellow on the bench over there, you see him?
Oh, yeah. Waiting for the bus.
He was there when we went by before. Take it easy when you're passing this time.
All right.
Better pull over.
Yeah.
Matches the description.
Uh-huh.
Looks like bloodstains on his shirt from here.
It sure does. Fits him good.
All right. You cover him from that side. I'll go this way.
Right. Joe, he's got a gun. Joe, you all right?
Yeah, thanks to this mailbox.
I saw him pull a gun. Thought sure he got you.
Well, he didn't miss by much. Well, we better check him.
Yeah. I hit him twice, Joe.
Take it easy. He's dead.
There wasn't anything I could do. It was you or him.
Puts us in a corner.
Yeah.
He was our lead to the other suspect.
You are listening to Dragnet, the authentic story of your police force in action.
The coroner came out and removed the body. The victim was identified as Jeffrey Burnham, age 27. From his package, we found that he'd been arrested several times on charges of armed robbery and that he'd served 1 term in San Quentin. Abner Stossett identified him positively as one of the hold-up men. Frank and I went back to the office to do a complete check on his friends and known acquaintances in the hope that we could turn up something to lead us to the other man. The search for the dark suspect was continued during the night without result. The next morning, we met with Lieutenant Stoner, and we made arrangements for additional men to aid us in checking out the list that we'd made on Burnham's friends. 8:47 a.m.
You ready?
Yeah, let's go. I get it. Robbery Friday. Yes, sir. Right away. Yes, sir. Bye. The victim, Abner Stossett.
Yeah?
Says he came across something this morning.
What was it?
Should tell us who the missing man is. We left the office and drove out to the florist shop. Abner Stossett met us at the door.
I don't know why I didn't think of it yesterday.
What's that, sir?
You remember how I told you they was both carrying leather jackets?
Yeah.
After I shot the one fellow on the sidewalk, I came back in here to take care of Danville.
Yes, sir.
I looked around to find something to put under his head. Yeah, wait, here, man, I'll get it.
All right.
I guess I didn't think much about it, kind of all upset.
Uh-huh.
But cleaning up this morning, I found it. It should give you something to work on.
Well?
There it is. You can still see the stains on where the fella dropped it.
Yeah.
Are you sure this jacket belonged to the missing suspect?
Yeah, you remember how I saw him drop it when he got shot? I remember it good.
All right, sir. Thank you very much. We'll check it out.
It shouldn't be too much trouble.
Okay.
Here, take a look. I found this myself. Here. Laundry tag.
We took the jacket over to the crime lab. Lieutenant Lee Jones started to check through his records for the name of the cleaner that had serviced the garment. Frank and I went back to the office and talked with Officers O'Donnell and Gerber. They told us that the list of the suspect's friends had been checked without result. The search for the missing man had been called off, and the additional units had returned to Metro Division. At 4:30 p.m., we got the call from Lee Jones. He gave us the name and address of the cleaner. Frank and I left the office and drove over to his shop.
Yes, sir. Something I can do for you?
Police officer. This is Frank Smith. My name's Friday.
Oh, how you doing? Hope there isn't anything wrong.
No, sir. We just like some information.
I got it. It's yours.
All right, sir. Ever see this before?
Leather jacket. A lot of them around.
How about this tag here? It's one of yours, isn't it?
Let's see. Yeah, that's our mark.
Can you tell us who brought this jacket in to be cleaned?
It'd be hard to say.
Well, the way we got it belongs to a fellow about 25, dark hair, about 150 pounds.
We do a good-sized business. Hard to remember all the people who come in.
That's right, sir, but do you have that many leather jackets?
No. Wait a minute. Let me think a minute. Might be outside, but it could be.
What's that?
Halleck. Norman Halleck. He looks like how you said. I've done some work for him and his family. It might be him.
Can you tell us where we can find him?
I got his address in the book. I can look it up for him.
If you would, please.
Might be. I hear he's been in trouble with the cops before.
Would you know what for?
No, it's just neighborhood gossip. I didn't think I'd want to put my name on.
Uh-huh.
Here it is. Norman Halleck. H-A-L-I-K. 10267 Sacramento Street.
All right, sir. Thank you very much.
Why don't you tell me what he's done?
I think it'd be better if we talk to him about that.
Sure, it's his business anyway.
Yeah.
That's the trouble with people nowadays. They're all the time pushing in on somebody else. Telling things they aren't sure about, giving people bad names for nothing.
Well, there's one small difference here.
Huh?
This fellow made his own name. We got Halleck's address, and we drove back to the office. We checked the name through R&I and found that he had several arrests for robbery and one for assault with a deadly weapon. We pulled his mugshot and drove out to see the victim, Abner Stossett.
No, that ain't him. No. No. Wait a minute. Here he is.
You sure, are you?
Yeah, I think so. Let me see that again.
Go ahead.
Eyes are the same. Head's a little shorter. No, it doesn't make any difference.
Sure?
That's the man.
Frank and I drove over to the address on Sacramento Street. We checked with the landlady, and she told us that Norman Halleck was in his room. We went upstairs.
This should be it.
All set?
Yeah.
Freeze, Halleck, right there.
What do you want?
Turn around.
What?
Turn around. Put your hands up on that wall.
Come on, move.
Stand still.
All right, he's clean, Joe.
All right, let's go.
Well, what's this all about?
Come on, let's go.
Well, you got to make a charge.
All right, suspicion of robbery.
You're out of your head.
You tell us about it, will you?
Sure, it's a bad beat.
It always is, isn't it?
It doesn't make any difference. You take me down, book me. I'll be out right away. All I need is a little time.
Yeah, well, then you're in real trouble.
Huh?
You just ran out of it. We searched the suspect's room, but we failed to find anything to further tie him in with a robbery shooting. He was taken to the city hall where Frank and I talked to him in the interrogation room.
How about it? Does that jacket belong to you?
I don't know.
Cleaner says it does.
Well, a lot of leather jackets. How's he know this one's mine?
All right, Halleck. Now, come on. We got you made, and you know it.
I told you before, this is a bad beat.
You're going to save yourself a lot of time if you cop out.
I'm glad to help, but I can't give you anything.
Where were you yesterday?
Home.
Anybody to back that up?
Yeah.
Well, then you can come up with a name.
Sure, all you need.
You know a Jeffrey Burnham?
Burnham?
B-U-R-N-H-A-M.
I know a lot of people. I might know.
All right, now, this is a simple question. Just give us an answer, will you?
You put it like that, I gotta say no.
Stand up.
Hmm?
Nothing wrong with your ears. Stand up. All right, now what? Take off your coat.
What?
Your coat, take it off.
Guys are going straight up. All right, now what?
Take your shirt off.
Huh?
Come on. It's simple. Take the shirt off, will you, fella?
I put the 3rd degree out. You're going to freeze me to death?
Come on, move.
All right, now what?
Turn around.
When do you turn on the blue light?
Frank.
Yeah.
All right, you can put your clothes on and sit down, Halleck. Come on.
Yeah.
You stay there, Halleck.
Well, what do you think?
He looked awful good for a while, didn't he? Sure blows it up.
Yeah. Supposed to be shot 4 times in the chest.
Not a bullet wound on him anywhere. A special show-up was arranged, and the suspect was shown to the victim. On seeing Halleck in person, he was unable to give us a positive identification. The suspect was detained at the main jail while we checked out his alibi for the day of the robbery. It held. Several people swore that he was 2 miles from the scene when the shooting took place. We questioned him about the leather jacket. He was unable to come up with an explanation as to how it could have gotten to the scene. We checked out all of the people in the building where he lived, all of his friends and associates, and on June 11th, he was released from custody. 10:16 a.m. Frank and I got back to the office from the main jail.
Well, I guess better check with the skipper, huh?
Yeah.
You got a good excuse?
Yeah, we'll just tell him the way it happened. He has to go along with it, the truth.
Well, Joe, it isn't logical that a man could walk around with 4 bullets in his chest and we can't find him.
Well, then you tell me what we're looking for.
Well, do you think Halleck gave us all he had?
I don't know. At least we know he's clean.
Yeah. No. Where do we go from here?
We'll go tell the skipper.
All right.
Just put it in the books and keep working on it. We got one thing with it.
Huh?
That guy's around someplace. Sooner or later, somebody's going to have too much to drink, maybe get in a fight with their girlfriend, trust somebody too much, but they're going to say something. When they do, we'll hear about it. And we'll get to him.
Yeah.
Just a matter of time.
Mm-hmm.
One thing, we got more than he has.
The story you have just heard is true. The names were changed to protect the innocent.
On June 11th, a meeting was held in the captain's office, Robbery Division, Los Angeles Police Department. The case was completely reviewed and a report written on the results of the investigation. As of this date, that investigation is continuing.
Dragnet. The story of your police force in action is a presentation of the United States Armed Forces Radio Service.
My name's Jeff Regan. I get 10 a day in expenses from a detective bureau run by a guy named Lyon. Anthony J. Lyon. They call me the Lion's Eye.
With Jack Webb as Jeff Regan, investigator, stand by for hard-boiled action and mystery and thrilling adventure in tonight's story of Cain and Abel and the Santa Maria.
started. It was one of those cold, clammy mornings that the Chamber of Commerce doesn't like to have in print. I was in my place working on a 4-minute egg that tasted like a boiled golf ball when the phone began bouncing. I let it ring a while, and I got to thinking that it might be an old-fashioned girl who knew how to cook. It was the Lion. Hello, Regan talking.
This is me. I've been working all morning.
I'll buy you a time clock. Get to the point.
This is our lucky day. I just talked to Dun & Bradstreet.
How are they?
Don't be funny. We got a new client, and they tell me when the Treasury Department gets in trouble, they come to him.
Yeah?
The guy's name is Abel Roderick. Got a special from him an hour ago. He asked for a man, and I'm sending you, Regan.
You're sending me where?
His ranch. He raises horses.
Horses don't talk. What's bothering him?
Maybe it's his wife. Tell me she's got a pair of legs she'll never forget. He just said he wanted an operator out there by 12 o'clock.
You never learn, do you?
This means no.
What else does it mean?
We'll go as far as homicide and arson when they got pockets as long as his.
Money all you ever think about?
Yeah, you learn something when you're as old as I am. That's all there is to think about.
Well, then get yourself another boy and start teaching him. I don't learn easy.
Now, just a minute. That's no attitude.
Taking somebody's check before you know who's who and what's what means trouble.
Jeffrey, please. You misunderstand me. I wouldn't jeopardize your bond or the good reputation of International by accepting an unreliable client.
Look, last week that guy had a record longer than a roll of ticker tape.
I've been with Harry Presidio all morning. He knows Abel Roderick.
Yeah.
He's the grandson of Gallup Roderick. Name used to be Rodriguez. One of our finest old California families. Jeffrey, he's a gentleman like yourself.
Oh, that's nice.
He needs our assistance. Well?
All right, where is it?
Inland route between here and Santa Ana. Take Firestone.
Yeah?
Now, you run out there and see what Mr. Roderick wants. And, Jeffrey.
I know.
Call me, Jeffrey. Call me if you run into any trouble.
Well, when the Lion hung up, he sounded as happy as a chorus girl with a new mink coat. Well, he's a smart guy, I guess, but he uses check stubs for a telephone directory. Well, the home of Abel Roderick wasn't too hard to find. All I had to do was to get out on the highway and look for a hill. That's where it was. One of those old Spanish-type places with a block of porches, windows, and lots of iron grill work. 20 years ago, it might have rated the good home section, but now you couldn't tell where the grass stopped and the weeds began. It's kind of used up and sad, like a derby winner with a broken leg. A tall blonde guy, about 30, in a black polo shirt, was stretched out on a beach chair in the front porch. He pulled off his dark glasses and watched me get out of the car and come up the steps. And he gave me one of those looks, like he was already tired of knowing me.
We don't want any.
How do you know?
We never want anything. Go away.
I'm here to see Abel Roderick. You him?
No.
But he lives here, doesn't he?
Yes. Who are you?
My name's Regan.
So?
I want to see him.
Go ahead. See him.
Everybody as nice as you.
Oh, I got a merit badge for being the nicest. What did you say your name was?
Regan.
What did you say you wanted to see him about?
I didn't say.
Mm-hmm. Well, it's too hot to play games, so I'll tell you. I don't like you and he won't like you.
Well, now, what am I supposed to do? Roll down the stairs?
It might help, baby.
Well, where'd you find him, Cain?
Janie, this is Mr. Regan. He came to see your husband. I guess he has business with him.
Hello, Mr. Regan. Is Abel expecting you?
At 12.
You're 10 minutes late.
Well, I'm still trying to see him.
He's in the study. Come on.
I'll see you later, Regan.
I thought I knew all of Abel's business acquaintances, but I don't remember you.
Oh, no, I'm a new one.
And what do you do?
A lot of things.
You're very interesting, Mr. Regan.
Mm-hmm.
Will you be coming here often?
I don't know.
I hope so.
You keep your husband in a vault?
I'd like to. You're cute. Here we are. This is Abel's study. I guess he stepped out for a moment. Would a drink take off the rough edges?
Might.
Good. I'll make you one.
Okay. Where are the horses?
Horses? We gave that up a long time ago. given up a lot of things, Mr. Regan. Let's not worry about that. Where's the thing?
Thanks. That blonde boy out on the porch doesn't like me.
Okay. Doesn't like anybody. But let's not worry about him either.
You're crowding me.
Don't you like to be crowded?
All depends on whose wife is doing it.
You're worried about Abel?
I'm drinking his whiskey.
I've never had any complaints.
I don't see why you should.
What kind of a nasty crack is that?
You figure it, lady.
Mister, nobody talks to little Jamie like that.
Hello, my dear. Introduce me to our visitor.
Oh, Abel. This is Mr. Regan, darling. He says he has business with you.
Regan? Oh, Regan. Yes, of course. How do you do, Mr. Regan? I'm Abel Roderick.
How are you?
I see Janie's made you comfortable with a drink, so we can get right down to business. Oh, Janie, my dear, why don't you ask Cain if he'd like to play some tennis?
You're not very subtle, darling, but I was just leaving.
That's a good girl.
I hope to see you again.
Don't let her worry you, Regan. It's an act.
Do I look worried?
She's lovely, and if you're young and tall and Janie's around, she adopts you.
I wasn't an orphan.
She'll be sulky all day now. Well, thanks for coming out. I hope you can help me.
Well, so far, I don't even know who's on the team.
A man in my alleged position is quite often the object of subterfuge. You can understand that.
Well, if you mean because you got money, yeah.
To be quite frank, I have no money, Mr. Regan.
That's going to come as a shock to somebody I know.
Who?
Never mind. Go on.
It's my grandfather, Gallant Roderick. He controls all of the wealth in this family.
You his front man?
The eldest son of a son. And I live in this deplorable old shack waiting for grandfather to die.
How long you been waiting?
Too long, Mr. Regan. But I'm past 40 now. I don't know how to do anything else, so I continue to wait. Along with my devoted brother, Cain, who has the same thing to look forward to.
Yeah, I met him.
If you think he's bad, you should meet my grandfather. He fitted us with these charming names, Cain and Abel.
Well, what's all this got to do with me?
Here. Look at these.
Mm-hmm.
2 little ships of silver. Perfect replicas of the Pinta and Nina, named after Columbus's fleet.
Yeah, you can't buy stuff like that anymore. Not even on a time plan.
Hardly. 20 years' work on the part of an ancient silversmith in Madrid. And a prized possession of the Rodriguez family for 7 generations. My great-great-great-grandmother wore them on her wedding dress.
Where's the other one?
You've guessed it, Mr. Regan. The Santa Maria is missing. Janie wore it to Ciro's night before last.
Did she lose it?
Nothing so simple. It was stolen.
How?
Oh, she was with Cain. It was late when they got back. A masked man stopped their car on the turnoff. According to Janie, he was very polite, merely removed the Santa Maria, took nothing else.
What about Cain?
He was passed out. Janie was driving. Regan, the usual thing is for me to get a telephone call and have an opportunity to buy it back. Isn't that right?
Well, a heist job usually works that way, yeah.
Well, I haven't been contacted. I'm getting worried.
What did your insurance company say?
My grandfather owns the insurance company. I've told no one but you.
You don't want him to know about it, huh?
Well, he might cut me off if he thinks I've been careless. Well, what do you advise me to do?
Wait for that phone call and buy it back.
I'm willing to buy it back, but the truth of the matter is grandfather will be in from the east this week. And the first thing he does when he comes out here is ask to see those ships.
Well, now, look, whoever pulled the job couldn't unload a thing like that without being caught. And if he melted it down, he'd be lucky to get $50. He's as bad off as you are.
Do you think you could hurry it up?
Well, I know a couple of people.
Then you'll try and contact them for me.
I'll do what I can.
Oh, thank you, Regan. Now we just sit back and wait for my ship to come in. Bad joke, huh?
I left him sitting there in that big room. He looked about as happy as a St. Bernard with a stomachache. Well, he'd have probably felt worse if he'd have been outside on the porch. Janie was there with his brother, only they didn't hear me. Well, maybe they were just checking each other for broken ribs. I didn't bother to ask. Out on the highway, about a mile from the place, a 49 Nash picked me up. I turned off a couple of times on those little roads to make sure, but he stuck with me. Once he got real close, but he was wearing dark glasses and a straw hat, and he could have been Whistler's mother for all I knew. When I pulled into the lot by our building about 3 o'clock, he drifted along with the Broadway traffic. I took his license number, and then I backed out and drove over to 3500 Hope Street.
So I said, wait till I go see my friend Moriarty.
Okay, buddy, well, let's see.
I want to trace a license number.
Accident?
No.
Oh, damn, huh? Try with the 11.
Thanks.
Next,
I want to know who's registered for these plates right here.
4E7542. This year?
Yeah. I'm a private detective. I think it might be connected with a case.
Yeah. Makes you think that.
Well, the car followed me this afternoon.
Yeah.
Just tell me who owns it, will you?
Then what?
Well, then I'm going to write you a letter.
I don't collect stamps.
You worked here too long, lady.
You telling me. 6 years I collected fines A through G. Now I'm doing this. Thanks, huh?
Who does the car belong to?
Oh, I gotta look. A lot of cars in Los Angeles. Thousands of cars. Mad Months would blow his brains out if he knew just how many cars there really are around this town. Well, Ruby DeWine knows, mister, and don't you forget it. 4E7542 belongs to a guy named Richard I. Chambers.
Address?
Hotel De Soto.
Thanks.
Come back anytime, doll. Glad to help you out.
The name Richard I. Chambers meant about as much to me as a shipload of stale bread, but it didn't take 20/20 vision to see that there was a connection. And the whole thing was phony. It was like cutting your leg off to cure your bunions. Well, I went back to the office and checked with the Lion.
Okay, Regan, give it to me.
It's a heist, one of the family heirlooms.
Into our meat. When was it lifted?
2 nights ago.
Any contacts yet?
No, none. That's why it's screwy.
What do you mean, screwy?
Well, it was a little silver ship called the Santa Maria. Now, they'd have to sell it back to Roderick or go on release.
Where does that leave us?
With another bum case.
Now, don't say a thing like that.
Well, your dope on Roderick was secondhand.
Tell me.
His grandfather keeps the keys.
How do you know?
Roderick said so.
You shouldn't let out family secrets. Now, you let me worry about that. Just find his little ship.
Yeah.
Guy called a half hour ago. Left the number for you.
Chambers?
Yeah, who told you?
Who did?
I want you to phone him.
Never mind, skip that. I know where to get him. Things began to move. That meant that all the cards were out and somebody was asking for bets. Over at the DeSoto Hotel, the clerk told me that 305 belonged to Chambers. He was a little guy, about a head shorter than Margaret O'Brien. He shoved 3 inches of nose out at me through a crack in the door.
All I left went for you to phone.
You, Chambers?
I was having a beauty nap. Come back in an hour.
Yeah, you need it.
Look out. Hey, what is this? Oh, tough guy, yeah? All right, you're tough. I think you're a bum.
All right, simmer down, Junior. You'll never make Eagle Scout.
Oh, you're so good. I gotta take that from you, huh?
We're gonna talk.
What makes you think so?
Everybody's grown up now.
Dickie Chambers talks when he feels like talking.
All right, Squirt, have it your way.
Hey, that kind of stuff ain't going to get you nothing, Regan.
Your weight's up, Dickie. You got a different job now.
Says you're a bum.
You tell me today.
Ask your mother.
What you want me to phone about?
Wrong track, gumshoe. The 2 buck windows downstairs.
You're in this somewhere, and I want to know where.
You through being tough, Regan?
No. I'll let the boys in the personnel division handle you.
What do you mean?
That shiv on your dress is about an inch too long to be legal.
Call him. See where it gets you.
I'll send you a nickel later.
Okay, I'll open. Just that I don't like to get shoved around, that's all.
Why didn't you figure that before you got tangled up?
On your contact.
All right, come on. Let's put the show on the road. How much does it cost?
$5,000 and 10s and 20s.
Go on.
Tonight, 10 o'clock. You come with him.
Where?
Mile this side of Santa Ana Airport. Little road turns left off 101. Drive 2 miles and park.
And then what?
Well, if you got the $5,000, you don't try anything funny. He gets his little silver ship back.
That it?
That's it, people. Happy?
See you later, Dickie.
Oh, I'm checking out tomorrow.
Hey, look, Buster, you aren't any heist man. They come smoother. What's your angle?
Maybe I love jewelry. You care if maybe I love jewelry.
I don't. A guy like you's got to love something. I called Roderick and told him what I'd found out. He sounded relieved, like he'd been underwater for a long time. We're just coming up for air. He said he'd get the cash, and I made arrangements to meet him at his place later on. Then I called the Lion and told him. After that, I stopped off at a place on Wilshire, and I ran up a tab watching a skinny guy trying to make a piano sound like a symphony orchestra. Well, I had some steak and potatoes, and then I drove back out to Roderick's place. It was about 9 o'clock when I got there, and the same people were on the front porch doing the same thing. I remembered what the lion had said about those legs of hers.
Oh, Joe.
Having fun?
Oh, Regan, huh? I thought I told you we didn't want any.
That was 8 hours ago.
We still don't want any.
I'm still here to see your brother.
Small business?
Something like that.
I don't like you any more now than I did this morning, and I hated you then.
Yeah, well, I'm going to cry about that when I get home.
You're pretty smart, aren't you, Regan?
Cain, please be careful.
He's awful smart.
Cain.
Let me go.
Yeah, let him go, lady. I'll give him back.
Now, I'll show you trying to spy on people, huh? I'm going to give you something, people.
He's been drinking. Look out.
Look out, nothing. Go on. Oh!
Well, I guess he deserved that. He's nasty when he works at it.
How was the other time?
There aren't any other times.
Too bad.
Maybe he'll be different when he wakes up. What do you mean about the liquor?
Give it.
He's getting the wrong idea about everything.
What do you care?
I was a hat check girl in a cheap nightclub.
What's going on out here, Janie? Oh, Regan, you're here. What was he acting up about tonight?
Mr. Regan.
Well, it doesn't make any difference. Take care of him, will you, Janie?
Of course, Abel.
That's a good girl, Janie. Well, you all ready, Regan?
You got it?
All set. I'll be home early, Janie. Come on, Regan, let's go.
Well, we climbed in my car. We drove to the place Dickie Chambers told me about. It wasn't hard to find. It was a flat dirt road by the edge of the airport. We clicked off 2 miles on the speedometer, and we switched off our lights and parked. It was dark and quiet there, like the inside of an empty barrel. Roderick didn't have much to say. He just sat there chewing on a cigar and looking at nothing. He was real good at waiting. I looked at my watch about 3 minutes to 10, then I saw the headlights of another car coming down the road from a long way off. Roderick nodded his head, and I began to have a feeling like I was standing on top of the trap, and the warden had just smiled at the hangman.
That must be ours, Regan. Do you think we should switch on our headlights? They may not see us.
Well, unless they got wings, they got to pass us.
They don't seem to be slowing down much, do they?
Well, get out of the car.
What?
Get out of the car.
Hey, what is
Don't
this?
talk. Move.
Oh, all right. What's got into you, Regan?
Come on.
Well, we can't just... Well, them think something's
Look,
wrong.
this is a packed deck. You're a ringer.
I'm not sure
Spun him around, and he fell against the car. I pulled out my gun, but it didn't do any good. Whoever it was must have been in vaudeville. That was the fastest disappearing act since Houdini.
You are listening to the story of Cain and Abel and the Santa Maria, tonight's adventure with Jeff Regan, Investigator. If you are a graduate nurse between the ages of 21 and 45, you may be eligible for a commission in the Regular Officers Reserve Army Nurse Corps. If you are eligible and meet the high standards to qualify to serve with this fine organization, you may elect active or inactive status. In addition to this privilege, they also have the opportunity to take advantage of special training courses. So if you believe that you qualify for a commission in the Army Nurse Corps Reserve, apply now to the Adjutant General's Office, Washington, D.C. That's the Adjutant General, Washington, D.C. And now, back to the story of Cain and Abel and the Santa Maria and Jeff Regan, Investigator.
Well, there was enough loose lead around there to start a scrap drive. Whoever it was wanted to make real sure. My car was as full of holes as a canceled check. I found a .45 slug in the seat packing, and I piled Roderick inside, and I drove over to a motor court on the highway. An old lady with a dust mop for a head of hair registered us and complained about all the drunks there were in this world. And then when I got rid of her, I went out to the phone booth and gave the lion a ring. I woke him up.
It's 11 o'clock at night. What do you want?
I'm in a jam.
You're always in a jam. Tell me about it in the morning.
Look, I'm giving it to you right now.
You drunk?
I've been with your client trying to get that ship back.
How'd you do?
I got lead instead of silver. Somebody doesn't like Roderick.
Who is it?
I don't know. We got there for the buyback and somebody opened up.
They can't do that.
Well, they did.
Oh, where's Roderick now?
With me. Get a doctor and come on over.
What?
He got in the way when they started the 4th of July.
Well, take him to a hospital.
Now, look, Fatso, he isn't hurt bad, but he needs help. You're always talking about money. Now, here's your chance to make some.
Yeah?
He'll give you a bonus if you keep him out of the papers.
I'll be there in half an hour.
Well, the Lion showed up 20 minutes later. He had a long-faced guy with him who said he was a doctor. He looked more like an undertaker, but I didn't argue. I told the Lion to keep Roderick there till I phoned back. Then I beat it over to the DeSoto Hotel. The door to 305 was open. Dickie Chambers had company, only he wasn't receiving. He was lying under his sheet. A fat guy in a wrinkled suit seemed to be running things.
Come on in, brother. I didn't know Dickie had any friends.
I guess he didn't.
Who are you?
I'm the guy who met him once. Who are you?
Ed Granger, constable. This is my territory. What's your name?
Regan, private investigator.
International?
Mm-hmm.
The Lion's Eye, huh? Know anything about this?
I talked to him this afternoon. He gave up riding horses for other things.
What kind of thing?
He was contact man on a heist job.
Yeah? Where do you come in?
I was hired. That's why I met Dickie.
Mind telling me by who?
It's a client, Granger.
This is a murder. Okay, well, sorry, go for now.
When'd you find him?
A little while ago, clerk called, said he heard shooting. I came down with the boys and found Dickie doing the long sleep. Happened less than an hour ago.
He's a tough little guy.
Well, them 45s don't know nothing about that.
45?
Big holes, chest and neck, close range. Corner's gonna lose 2 bits. He thinks it's a 38. Yeah.
Well, look, if it turns out big, try this one for a match here.
Oh, you've been playing games tonight?
Somebody gave it to me.
Connected?
Ballistics will tell you.
Anything else?
No.
What'd you come back for?
Talk to Dickie.
No good, huh?
No good. I should have asked him earlier.
We can get you through International.
Yeah.
Well, if you got anything, remember the name. Ed Granger.
He was peeking under that sheet looking at Chambers when I left. There was kind of a sad smile on his face, like somebody put gasoline in his thermos bottle. I drifted across the street for a package of cigarettes, and then I came back and climbed in my car thinking about the whole thing. I don't know how long I sat there in the car, but when I looked up, there was a shadow against the wall of the building. It was a good-looking shadow.
Doing your homework?
Yeah, I due for a diploma.
Congratulations. What would you like for a gift?
How about a little silver ship, huh?
Sorry, too expensive. Try again.
All right, give me a 45.
What would you do with that?
Give it to a cop named Granger.
Then what?
I go home and go to bed.
You haven't asked me what I'm doing here.
I know.
Cain?
Him, too?
He isn't so bad when you get to know him.
From where you're sitting, he must have wings.
Well, if it isn't the gum heel, you ready for a laugh?
What do we got, a comedy?
Take a look, Jenny. Okay, bright boy, where is he?
You sober enough to shoot straight?
I took the pledge.
Before or after you came by us out on that road?
After, baby.
You don't smell like it.
Where is he?
Try my car trunk. I'm using him for ballast.
What did you do with him, Regan?
Cain, there's some people coming. Has he told you what he did with Abel?
Not yet.
You'll have to talk to him somewhere else.
Right, Angel. Okay, Regan, come on, get out. Hurry up. Now turn around.
Let me guess what's coming.
It's a trip to the moon. Sit tight, baby. Here you go. Oh!
I settled down to having a headache. Then the headache went someplace and I had nothing. Oh, it was a nice play. Everybody was a quarterback and everybody had the ball. I looked as good as a fat girl in a French bathing suit. It was some time later, maybe 10 years. I had a mouthful of brandy and my throat was burning like an oil stacker. We were in Roderick's place. He was standing over me holding a bottle in one hand and a 45 in the other.
Coming around. Got to work fast.
Don't worry, he'll talk. Feeling better, baby? Well, you're gonna feel worse. Now sit up, baby. Come on, it's time to talk.
Now, wait a minute, Cain. Wait. Let me ask you. We're all alone here. No one's going to disturb us. And we'll find out anyhow. Why don't you tell us what you did with him?
I got a short memory. I forget things.
It's a shame to let Cain do this to you. I think you're pretty. Might not be able to stop him once you get started.
Well, it's your idea, lady. I'm along for the view.
Iron men went out with short skirts, but I guess you don't know it yet.
You look tough, brother, but you bruise easy.
You're already wearing striped pants. You mangled it when you tagged me tonight.
Think so? Tell me how.
All right. No one knew I was a detective but your brother. That meant you hired Dickie Chambers to find out.
So you know it. So what?
So you bumped Dickie when you thought it was finished.
Well, that makes you know I'm not kidding.
There's a constable named Granger.
Cain?
Relax, Angel, relax. Don't let him scare you. He hasn't told anything to anybody.
No?
No. If you did, we would have found him in a hospital. I saw him go down.
Are you sure?
Of course I am. Now all we got to do is find him. So let's get started. You talk now, huh? No? It's going to get worse, baby. You might have to write it later.
You got hold of a bad label.
Stop it. Now, stop it. This isn't getting us anything.
Yeah, but I'm having fun.
No, kill him.
Let go of my
Listen to
arm.
me. Now, we need him. We've got to find him in the car with Abel. It's ruined if you kill him. No
I
way.
said let go.
Ah!
Now, where were we, baby?
We've got to stop.
Huh?
Stand away from him.
Are you crazy or something?
It will work fine if you could think. But you can't think. You're no good to me anymore.
Janie.
He shook all over a couple of times like he was saying no in a big way. And then he finally relaxed. She knelt down and took something out of his pocket. I tried to lift one of my arms, but I got about as far as I would trying to hook a whale with a solid fork. I must have looked real bad, because all of a sudden her eyes kind of lit up and she came over.
You've taken a lot of punishment, mister.
Yeah, not as much as you're going to take.
It's a matter of opinion. By the way, you didn't happen to be carrying that $5,000.
You're looking for a stake?
Yeah? I'm going out prospecting.
Trip around the world?
Far enough to make some new connections. That's all a girl needs. Here's the little ship. You didn't do it for nothing.
You run out of bullets?
No. If they ever get me, I'll say justifiable homicide. He was trying to kill you. You're my witness. Oh, you are pretty. Take care of yourself. Goodbye.
Take care of yourself. Goodbye. That's all she said, and that was the last I ever saw of her. Well, it seems that Janie and Cain had figured to tag both of us out on that road, and it'd all be blamed on a phony heist gang. There was a lot of insurance they could have turned into ready cash, but I had a feeling that when I made Abel get out of that car that night, it'd ruin things for him. Janie and Cain thought that they could still do it if they could find him and get us together again. That's why he went to work on me. Cain already killed Dickie Chambers because he thought there might have been a double cross, and I guess he was kind of crazy by the time he got around to me. Well, anyway, about 3 months later, a detective sergeant down in Miami Beach spotted Janie one night working a hat stand in a nightclub. Everybody wondered how he could recognize her. She dyed her hair, and it really changed her appearance. But it figured. You see, the police folder had a picture of her in a bathing suit, and she couldn't change those legs.
Ladies and gentlemen, the story you're about to hear is true. The names have been changed to protect the innocent.
Dragnet.
You're a detective sergeant. You're assigned the homicide detail. A woman reports her sister is missing. The story she gives you indicates foul play. Your job, investigate.
It was Tuesday, April 8th. It was warm in Los Angeles. We were working the day watch out of Homicide Division. My partner's Frank Smith. The boss is Captain Lorman. My name's Friday. I was on my way back from the business office, and it was 11:46 a.m. when I got to room 42. Homicide.
You know, it's just too bad you can't move a little faster on things like this. It's just too bad.
Yes, ma'am. Hi, Joe.
Hi.
Mrs. Moffett, this is my partner, Sergeant Friday. Joe, this is Mrs. Moffett.
How are you, ma'am?
How do you do?
You want to tell him the story?
Think it'll do any good?
Yes, ma'am.
Well, then, my sister's gone.
Yes.
Disappeared, and I want you to find her.
When'd you see her last?
A couple of weeks ago.
Could you give us a date?
You have a calendar?
Yes, ma'am, right on the wall there behind you.
Oh. Well, this is the 8th. Maggie's birthday was in March, and that'd make it 14th of March.
I see.
She come by to thank me for the party. Had a few of the girls in for her.
That's your sister?
Yes, Margaret Cain.
Have you heard anything from her since then?
Not a peep.
What about her home? Have you checked there?
Tried to call her on the phone a couple of times. Didn't talk to her, though.
Who'd you speak with?
Her husband.
Did you ask him where your sister was?
Yes, I come right out with it. Didn't mince anything up.
What'd he have to say?
Well, then, just beat around. Didn't come out with a yay or no. Just beat around.
Mm-hmm. How about the rest of her family?
Isn't any. I'm the only living relative she has.
Possible she's ill?
If that's so, I'd know about it. We were pretty close. Hardly no secrets from each other.
I see.
Now, if you're all done asking me the same questions this fella has, I want to know. I know there's something wrong. I want you to find out.
All right, we'll check on it.
I want you to do more than that, a lot more.
Beg your pardon?
I want you to arrest Maggie's husband.
Well, why?
Because he killed her.
We checked the name and description of the woman through missing persons files, but we failed to find anything on her. While I talked to Karen Moffett, Frank went down the hall and ran the names Margaret Cain and her husband Gordon through R&I. There was nothing on either one of them. 1:06 p.m. We left the office and drove out to check the missing woman's house.
Doesn't seem like anybody's home.
Well, let's check the bank.
Right. You think there's anything to it?
You know as much as I do. We both started from the same place.
Yeah. I'll get it.
All right. Well, there's somebody home.
Yeah. Wonder why he didn't bark when we knocked on the door.
I don't know. There's nothing here. Let's check the garage there. Locked?
Nope. Oh, it's quite a shop, huh?
Mm-hmm. A lot of tools.
Well, doesn't look like anything.
Nope. Frank?
Yeah.
Come here. Right here, under the sawdust.
Where? Oh, yeah. Looks like somebody tried to hide it.
Bloodstains. We put in the call to the crime lab requesting that a crew be sent out to check the stains that we'd found on the floor. We talked to the neighbors about the couple, and we got the address of the place where Mr. Cain was employed. It was a large wholesale carpet company. We found Cain in one of the offices.
That's right. No, ma'am, if it's put in, it should make the room a lot warmer. No, the carpet you've chosen shouldn't show any wear for years. Mm-hmm. Well, we found that color doesn't show the dirt. No, ma'am. Well, it'll increase the value of your home. Oh, that's right. Oh, we can have it in for you day after tomorrow. That's right. I'll give you a call. All right, bye. Yes, sir. Can I do something for you?
Mr. Cain?
That's right. You want to come in? What can I do for you?
Police officers. Frank Smith. My name's Friday.
All right. How do you do, sir? Something wrong?
No, sir. Just a couple of questions we'd like to ask.
Oh, sure. You want to sit down?
Thank you.
Cigarette?
Yeah, thanks.
Yeah. How about you, Mr. Smith?
Yes, thanks, sir.
One like?
I've got it. There you are.
Thanks.
Thanks.
Now then, what's this all about?
You know where your wife is, Mr. Cain?
Oh, there's something about Maggie?
Well, do you know where she is?
Look, Mr. Friday, if there's something wrong with Maggie, I got the right to know about it.
Yes, sir, that's true. We're not sure there's anything wrong. We'd like to talk to Mrs. Cain.
We hope you'd tell us where we might reach her.
Was she in trouble?
No, sir.
Well, then I don't understand all the questions.
We've got a report that she's missing.
Who filed it?
Her sister.
That figures.
How's that?
She isn't ever going to stop.
I don't believe I follow you.
Karen's been hacked at me ever since I married Maggie. Not a day goes by she doesn't plant some kind of a dig.
Does she have a reason?
Yeah. She had it all fixed for Maggie to marry someone else. I came along and upset her plans. Been trying to break us up ever since.
That's so?
Yeah. This fellow she was trying to palm off on my wife. Karen's husband worked for him. She figured it'd be real soft having the boss as a brother-in-law. Well, the way it worked out, the slob had to work for a living. Almost kills Karen every time she thinks of it.
Where is your wife?
I wish I could tell you.
What?
I wish I knew where she was.
Haven't you got any idea?
No. A couple of weeks ago, I came home from work. Maggie was gone. I haven't seen her since.
Can you pin it down?
Thursday, a week. She called during the day to tell me she wanted me to go out to dinner. Said she wanted me to be home on time. I told her I wouldn't be able to make it. We had words. She hung up. When I got to the house, she was gone.
She leave any kind of a note?
Yeah.
Have you got it?
I don't think so. I was pretty upset. Guess I must have thrown it away. Haven't seen her around since.
You know, you've got quite a woodworking shop in your garage.
Yeah. Stuff's getting a little rusty now. I haven't felt like doing anything.
Now, this trouble with your wife, was there another man involved?
It'd be hard to say.
What do you mean?
Well, Maggie's an attractive girl. Everywhere she went, there was some guy trying to make time. Might have been someone special. I wouldn't know.
Mm-hmm. Wonder if we could use one of the phones outside.
Use this if you like.
Well, one of the others will do.
Well, sure. Go ahead.
I'll call over to Joe. See what they've come up with.
Okay. This note your wife left, what did it say?
You mean the exact words?
If you remember them.
It was pretty simple. Just that she was leaving me. Said she didn't have to tell me why, that I knew.
Did she say where she was going?
No. Figured maybe she went back east. She's got some friends there.
Where?
Nebraska, I think. I've never met them.
How about clothes?
What?
Did she take any clothes with her?
Oh, yeah, I guess so. She had quite a few. I looked at her closet. I couldn't tell what was gone. She took her fur coat, though.
Mm-hmm. Did you try to contact any of her friends?
I called around. I didn't find out anything.
Mm-hmm.
Whole thing's a farce, Sergeant. Isn't anything new about a wife leaving her husband. Read about it all the time in the papers. Karen's just stirring up trouble. She's sore at me. Always has been. Always will be.
Joe.
Yeah. Excuse me.
Yeah, sure.
You talked to the lab?
Yeah. We just finished the test on the blood stains.
Mm-hmm.
We're not too far off.
Huh?
Human blood.
Frank and I took Gordon Shane back to his house. During the ride, he was quiet, and he refused to be led into a conversation about his wife. When we arrived at the house, we took him back to the garage. The crew from the crime lab had gone back to the office to make the grouping tests on the blood stains.
Wish you'd tell me what this is all about.
We figure you might have the answer to that.
When are you going to stop talking in riddles?
Now, Shane, you know what we're after. You'll save yourself a lot of trouble if you go along with us.
Well, I don't know. What are you after? You drag me away from my job, cause me a lot of embarrassment. Now, how about calling the game so we both know what we're playing?
All right, fine, sure. You got an explanation for this?
What?
The blood stains here on the floor.
Yeah, sure. I killed a couple of people. This is where I did it.
We don't need any jokes, Shane. Just figure it out.
Well, you better turn in your deerstalker cap. I made those stains myself.
Yeah?
I was working on the lathe. Chisel slipped out of my hand, cut my foot.
When did this happen?
A couple of weeks ago.
Before or after your wife left?
Now you're ready to stop the game.
It's a real easy question, Shane. Give us the answer the same way, will you?
Before.
How much?
A couple of days.
You told us your wife left on the 27th of March. Is that right?
Yeah, I guess so.
Is it right or isn't it?
It's right. It's right.
Then when'd you cut your foot?
The Sunday before.
How'd you pull that date up?
Well, no trouble. It's the last time I worked out here.
Oh, well, cut that bad, still be a mark, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
You mind showing us?
Not at all.
You know your blood type?
Hmm?
What's your blood type?
Oh.
How about your wife's?
I don't know. Somehow we never quite got around to talking about it.
All right. Let's go in the house. You can show us your foot there.
Yeah, sure.
You think you might be able to come up with a note your wife left as well?
I'll look. You know much about the law?
What do you mean?
Well, if I get out of this, can I bring suit against my sister-in-law?
What's that?
Well, it seems there should be something I can do to close her mouth. All the time Maggie and me were together, she was causing trouble. I could really fix her good.
That's a civil matter. You better see your lawyer about that.
Wait a minute. I'll get to that. Come on. We can talk in the living room.
Where?
Living room.
All right. You want to go ahead?
Yeah. This is the living room. You can sit down any place.
All right.
A little messy. I haven't spent a lot of time here since she left. Just toss those things on the floor.
Don't worry about it.
You want to see if you can find that note now?
Yeah, I think maybe it's in the desk. I'll get it.
Wait a minute. I'll have a look first.
You guys don't trust anybody, do you?
That's the way it's going to be. You got to go with it.
All right. Better make sure I haven't got a machine gun hidden in there.
You know, you've done pretty good up to here, Shane. Don't press your luck.
Yeah. Go ahead. Tear the place up. Too bad I haven't got a wall bed. You could look for her in there.
Doesn't seem to make any difference to you that your wife left at all, does it?
That's the way it looks.
Yeah.
Well, you ain't far off. Real load off my back. We've been married over 4 years, and all that time I haven't had a minute's rest. Thinking how she was going to run off with somebody else. Figured that she'd drop me. Now it's over. I don't have to worry anymore.
You got it wrong, Shane.
That's right.
Yeah. Take a look, Joe.
Hey, what do you got there? You got no right to go through my personal things.
When did you see your wife last?
I'm not going to say anything more. You're trying to lead me into something.
Looks like you found your own way. Now, how about it?
I'm not going to talk anymore.
All right. You call it any way you want. No matter how it turns out, you're going to carry the load.
All right. She left on the 27th.
That's the last time you saw her?
Yeah.
Have you heard anything from her since then?
No.
And I hope you got an answer for these.
What do you got?
A couple of checks made out to you, and they're signed by your wife.
Well, what's that prove?
The dates on the checks make a liar out of you, Shane.
Huh?
They were written a week after she left you. We made a search of the house, but we failed to turn up anything more that would tie Gordon Shane in with his wife's disappearance. We looked through the desk, and we found several letters that she'd written. These were taken for handwriting comparison. We also found several pictures of the missing woman. A check with the neighbors failed to give us anything further to work on. All of them told us of constant fights between Shane and his wife. One of the people said that on several occasions the sound of sobbing had been heard coming from the house. At 5:20 p.m., Frank and I left the place and took Shane down to the city hall. The checks and samples of Mrs. Shane's writing were turned over to Larry Sloan for comparison. We put in a call to the crime lab, but we found that the blood grouping tests were not finished. 6:12. We took the suspect to the interrogation room.
Just sit down over there, Shane.
Okay. How long do you think you're going to be able to hold me?
Depends on when we get the truth.
Well, you saw the cut on my foot. You didn't find anything at the house. Look, you're grabbing at shadows.
You still haven't told us about the checks.
No reason to. Everything I say, you twist around so it ends up something I don't mean.
Where'd you get the checks?
From Maggie.
What about the date on them?
I don't know. I guess she made a mistake when they were written.
Where'd you get them?
Found them in the desk.
Well, didn't you think it was kind of funny that your wife would write a couple of checks and just leave them laying around on the desk?
No. Maggie was always doing something like that. She didn't care about money.
How about you, Shane?
Huh?
Does it make any difference to you?
Look, I'm getting tired of this. Some crazy old bag comes in here, tells you a fairy tale, and you buy it all away. Any special reason why you're taking my sister-in-law's word for it?
The way she tells us seems to add up.
Well, then, you better go over the column again. My wife walked out on me. There wasn't any fight when it happened. She just picked up and she left. I don't know where she is. I don't much care. But you put this down in your book. I didn't kill her. Now look, leave me alone. When do I get to call a lawyer?
We'll set it up for you.
Well, do it fast, because you're getting nothing more from me.
That's the way you want it.
Wasn't any other way. I'm telling you the truth, and you don't believe it. Might as well keep my mouth shut so you can't make it any worse.
All right, Gordon. We'll take you over to the main jail. You can call your lawyer from there.
What are you holding me on?
Suspicion of murder.
You just don't give up, do you?
Look, we got to go along with the evidence.
Well, you better check it again, because you're making a mistake somewhere along the line.
That's the way it looks to you, does it?
Yeah. Go over the road again. Find that you're a cop.
No, let's do it the easy way.
Huh?
You point it out. The suspect was removed to the main jail and held for further investigation. Frank checked the office, and I went down the hall to talk to Larry Sloan in handwriting.
Joe, how's it going?
You all through with those checks, Larry?
Just wrapping it up.
All right to wait?
Sure, sit down.
Okay.
What do you figure?
I want you to tell us.
Mm-hmm. How'd it start?
Complaint. The woman wanted us to find her sister.
Well, where did the checks fit in?
Found them with the husband. Date's a couple of days after she disappeared.
Uh-huh. Figure he might have written them, huh?
Well, that's one way.
Well, that does it.
Okay, what do you got?
The endorsement on the back is Shane's writing.
His signature.
Yeah, here you can see it. No trouble there. The O's, Wade pulls the stroke down on the S. That's his.
What about the writing on the face?
Well, look here. Shading on the G.
Yeah.
Where the crossbar on the T's pulled up. These are the samples, and you got the same thing right here.
No doubt about it, huh?
Not with me.
Okay.
The woman wrote the checks.
Joe.
In here, Frank.
Oh. Just talked with Lee at the crime lab.
Yeah.
He finished the grouping test.
What do you find?
Got in touch with Karen Moffat. Found out the missing woman's blood type.
Yeah.
Stains on the floor aren't hers. They belong to Shane.
How you doing, Joe?
Not good. Looks like we got the wrong man in jail, doesn't it?
You are listening to Dragnet, the authentic story of your police force in action.
Frank and I left the office and went over to the main jail to see Gordon Shane. We talked to him for over an hour. He told us that he and his wife had been having trouble for quite a while and that they'd separated on several occasions. He went on to tell us that he didn't know for sure whether there was another man involved, but that he'd heard his wife spent a lot of time in a small bar on Vermont Avenue. He said that it was possible we could pick up some information on her there. Frank and I left the jail and drove over to the place. It was an average neighborhood tavern. We talked to the bartender.
Only one way to describe her. Man, oh, man.
Well, was there anybody special that Mrs. Shane spent a lot of time with, would you know?
Gee, I don't know. A lot of people in here like a family. Guess if you had to nail it down, it'd be Leonard.
Who's Leonard?
Another regular. He's here almost every afternoon.
He and Mrs. Shane were pretty friendly, huh?
Yeah, real buddies. They used to come in and get gas together, spend the whole afternoon, sit down there at the inn and play horse. Play it by the hour. Not for money. We don't allow that in here.
What do you know about him?
Not much. Doesn't figure him and Maggie had hit it off, though.
Why do you say that?
Well, it just doesn't. She liked her fellas big, you know, dark and handsome. Leonard's a little guy, not more than 5'4". Sure ain't anything to look at.
What's his last name?
I think it's P-U-R-D-Y, Purdy. It seems like it's it.
What's he look like?
Not much about him you'd remember. He's a little guy, blonde hair, real bad complexion. He has a mustache, you know, big, kind of handlebar-like.
Yeah. You know where he lives?
Not for sure. I think he's got a room over on Fountain someplace. I don't know the number.
Where's your phone?
Through the back door there.
Thanks.
On the left.
I'll check it, Jim. All right. Does this Purdy work for a living?
No, regular.
What's he do, you know?
He's some kind of salesman, door to door. I don't know what he peddles. Seen him a couple of times with a sample case, though.
Has he been around lately?
No. Hadn't thought about it, but I guess I haven't seen him in a couple of weeks.
You ever hear what he and Mrs. Shane talked about?
Word here and there. Nothing you could put together. I think she spent the time with him because she didn't have to worry about it.
How do you mean that?
Well, you know, a little guy like that. Couldn't give her no trouble. He's always around. Maggie didn't have a car, so Leonard would drive her if she wanted to go someplace.
What kind of a car?
41 DeSoto. Parked it out back a couple of times. It's a real wreck.
All right.
What'd she do? Huh? Maggie, what are you after her for?
Like I said, we'd like to talk to her.
Sure does if you get to know her. After that, doesn't matter how much money she spends, she can't put you back.
She spent quite a bit in here, did she?
Yeah? Her and Leonard had really put the drinks away. Both of them had hollow legs. You know, I've seen some pretty heavy drinkers walk up against them. They don't stand a chance. Maggie can really put it away. It always causes trouble.
How do you mean?
It's loud. Yelling all over about how she could buy and sell everybody in a place. A couple of times I had to ask her to get out. Things like that hurt business, you know.
She carry a lot of money with her, did she?
Oh, yeah, always had a bundle. Said she was an heiress or something. I don't know. She was always loaded, though.
Anything on Purdy?
Yeah, sure is.
Yeah?
Got out of the state mental hospital 6 months ago.
From his package, we found that Leonard Purdy had been arrested several times for suspicion of grand theft. However, he hadn't been convicted on any of them. Also, there were 18 drunk arrests against him. We put in the call to Georgia Street Psycho Detail, and we talked to Lieutenant Quinn. He remembered Purdy. He went on to say that the suspect had been in to see him several times since his release. He told us that Purdy had committed himself to the state hospital as an alcoholic. Quinn went on to say that when Purdy was drunk, he became violent, and that on 3 of his arrests, it had taken several officers to subdue him. We contacted the authorities up at Camarillo. They told us that the suspect had been released by them after treatment, and that he apparently was cured. We checked the last address in his package, but we found that he'd moved. A local and an APB was gotten out on him. We asked DMV to furnish any and all information on a car registered to him. 2 days went by without a word of him. In the meantime, we talked to all of his friends and acquaintances. From each one of them, we got the same story. Leonard Purdy was a freeloader who'd do anything for $1. On Thursday, April 10th, we got word that the suspect had been seen in a second-hand store down on Main Street. We checked the area and got an identification from his mugshot. He'd come in to pawn a man's watch. From the buy book, we got an address out on Gladys Avenue. We talked to the landlady and found that the suspect was in his room. Frank and I went upstairs.
Who's that, huh?
No.
Go ahead.
Want to talk to you, Purdy?
Just a minute. Yeah, what do you want?
You Leonard Purdy?
That's right. Who are you guys?
Police officers who want to talk to you.
I got nothing to do with cops. I had my fill up.
Yeah.
Why don't you come in?
Frank?
Yeah. You can be here long?
Not long.
That's good. I don't feel like making small talk. I'd offer you a drink, but there's just barely enough for me. You can understand.
Put the glass down, Purdy.
What?
Put it down.
What
You got no right to come in here and tell me what to do. Nobody asked you.
No, found this in the closet. This fur coat belong to you, Purdy?
Yeah, I get cold now.
You know a woman by the name of Margaret Shane?
Never heard of her.
You sure about that?
I'm sure. I got nothing to answer to you. Before you come in here and tell me what to do, I don't have to give you one single answer about nothing.
You better come up with one.
What's that?
This coat.
What about it?
It's got Margaret Shane's name in it.
It must be a mistake. I don't know anybody named Shane. Nobody.
We got a lot of people who say you do.
You telling me the truth?
Same people tell us you were with her when she disappeared.
They don't know what they're talking about.
The way they put it, it's pretty straight.
Who told you? Who? Just give me some names.
Everybody we talked to.
They said I was with her?
That's right. Now, where is she?
I don't know.
You got to do better than that.
No, it's the truth. I don't know where she is.
Mm-hmm.
I killed her, but I don't know where she is.
We took the suspect down to the city hall and questioned him. He finally sobered up enough to tell us that he'd gotten into an argument with the Shane woman and he'd beaten her to death. He went on to say that his car was being repaired and that he'd rented one and driven it out into the desert. He buried the victim there. We showed him maps of the area, but he was unable to tell us where to find the body. He only knew that he'd put it in the culvert along the roadside. We got the name of the automobile rental agency, and we called them. Their records gave us the date of the rental and the mileage the car had been driven. We put the suspect in our car and started out toward the Mojave Desert. As we drove, Purdy verified our route. By dividing the total mileage in half and figuring the distance between his house and the office of the auto rental company, we had a vague idea where to start looking. After we'd been driving for over 2 hours, we pulled to the side of the road. How's it look around here?
Yeah, it might be it. I think up the road a little way. Remember that big rock over there? Remember that pretty good. It's up ahead a little.
Right. We drove for another 30 minutes, and then Purdy directed us to pull off onto a dirt road. We drove another half a mile, and we came to the end of the road. We can't go any further.
Don't have to.
Huh?
I remember now. Let's get out of the car.
Just stay close to us, Purdy, right here.
All right.
Which way?
Over here. Sure a beautiful day.
Yeah.
It's different when you get out in the country. Everything's got a different color.
Come on, Purdy. Where is she?
Over there, behind the bushes.
I'll go look.
Always been the big trouble.
What's that?
Boozing it up. Every time I get a few drinks, I don't know what I'm doing. Thought after I got out of the hospital, I had it made, you know. I'd be able to stay away from it.
Yeah.
First time I had trouble, I went back. I always went back.
How about it?
Yeah. She's there. All the time, that's what caused the trouble. Wouldn't be if it wasn't for me boozing it up.
Mm-hmm.
If I could just stay away from it, I wouldn't have any problems. I want to give it up if I could just find a way.
You got one now.
The story you have just heard is true. The names were changed to protect the innocent.
On August 14th, trial was held in Department 98, Superior Court of the State of California, in and for the County of Los Angeles. Leonard Eiler Purdy pled guilty to murder in the second degree and received sentence as prescribed by law. Murder in the second degree is punishable by imprisonment for a period of from 5 years to life in the state penitentiary.
Dragnet. The story of your police force in action is a presentation of the United States Armed Forces Radio Service.
to hear is true. The names have been changed to protect the innocent.
Dragnet.
You're a detective sergeant. You're assigned to robbery detail. You get a call from the Georgia Street Hospital. A woman has been brought in to receive emergency treatment. She says she was kidnapped and robbed. Your job? Investigate.
Dragnet, the documented drama of an actual crime. For the next 30 minutes, in cooperation with the Los Angeles Police Department, you will travel step by step on the side of the law through an actual case transcribed from official police files. From beginning to end, from crime to punishment, Dragnet is the story of your police force in action.
It was Wednesday, February 4th. It was cool in Los Angeles. We were working the night watch out of robbery detail. My partner's Frank Smith. The boss is Chief of Detectives Thad Brown. My name's Friday. We're on our way out from the office, and it was 8:32 when we got to Georgia Street Hospital, the treatment room.
Dr. Hall?
Oh, hi, Frank. Be right with you. Excuse me.
Certainly, Doctor.
All right. Hi, Doctor.
That the Alston woman?
Yeah.
How is she?
Bruised about the face, not too serious. You can leave when you finish with her.
Good. Can we go in now?
Sure. Let me know when you're through with it.
All right. Thanks, Doc. Miss Alston?
Yes?
We're police officers. This is Frank Smith. My name's Friday.
How do you do?
I do, ma'am.
Doctor just told us that you could return home when we finish questioning you, so we'll try not to keep you too long.
Thank you. I'm not really hurt much. I was more frightened than anything else.
Yes, ma'am. Would you like to tell us what happened now?
I stopped at a signal at Washington Boulevard in Normandy, and suddenly the car door opened, and a man jumped in the car. I was scared, and I let out a yell.
Mm-hmm. Which door did he open?
Well, on the passenger side. He got right in the front seat beside me.
All right.
He had a knife in his hand. He said not to scream or he'd stab me. Put the knife right against my ribs, right here.
Mm-hmm.
Then he said to drive straight ahead. I did. We went a couple of blocks, I guess it was, and then he said to stop the car. When I pulled over the curb, another man got in the car, in the back seat.
Mm-hmm.
The one with the knife told me to get in the back seat. And when I did, he gave the knife to the other man. And then he started to drive.
Mm-hmm.
And the man in the back took my purse from the front seat and started going through it. I don't know why I did, but I grabbed for it. It was a mistake.
Mm-hmm.
He slapped me real hard. He said that was just a sample. I'd get some more if I didn't just sit quiet. He took the money I had in my billfold and he grabbed my arm. He twisted it so I had a watch on. And I hesitated when he told me to take it off, and then he hit me again.
He took your watch, too, did he?
Yeah, and my ring, too.
Can you give us the serial number on the watch?
Yes, I have it written down at home.
We'll need a description of the ring, too.
All right.
Would you go on, please?
Sure, I'd wind up as a picture and a headline in tomorrow's paper, one way or the other.
How do you mean that?
Well, he was driving like a maniac. He's breaking all kinds of laws.
Yes, ma'am.
But then I thought, well, maybe this might be a good thing. His driving like that, I mean, because a police car started chasing us. I could hear the siren, and I thought I saw the red lights flashing.
Mm-hmm.
I was hoping they'd catch us, but, well, somehow we got away from them. This man took so many chances, and all. No wonder we didn't smash up sooner.
You mean that you did have an accident later on?
You don't know about that?
No.
Well, after he got away from the police car, this man kept driving real crazy and dangerous. Finally, we went down a dead-end street. He put on the brakes, but it was too late, and we smashed into a wall of some kind.
Yeah.
And they got out of the car, and they started running. I started screaming.
Mm-hmm.
Well, anyhow, some man came out of a building. I told him what had happened, and he called the police and the ambulance. Here I am. Still some shaky, but thankful it wasn't any worse.
Can you give us a description of these two men?
Well, not much, I'm afraid. That makes me feel pretty stupid, too.
What do you mean, ma'am?
Well, I'm always doing those observation tests in magazines. I could get real high ratings, and when I'm up against the real thing, I fail miserably.
Can you give us a general idea of their age, their coloring, their height, the way they were dressed?
I don't think they were too old. maybe around 20 or so.
Mm-hmm.
They had dark hair. I can't tell you how tall they were. The only time I saw them standing up was when they ran away from the car.
I see.
As I remember, the one that drove had on a sport coat, tan color. And the one in the back had on a brown suede jacket. You know, the kind with the knit cuffs and the collar and the waist. That's about all I can remember. I'm sorry.
That's all right, Miss Austin. We appreciate the fact you're under a pretty bad strain.
I really thought they'd kill me.
Yes, ma'am. You remember if they were clean shaven?
You mean that they have mustaches?
That's right.
No, they didn't.
Well, you remember if either of them had any scars or marks in their faces, anything distinguishing that might help us identify them later?
Well, if they did, I didn't see any, but... Well, there was one thing. I don't know if it means anything.
Yeah.
The one that was driving had a bandage on his thumb. I could see that because he held the steering wheel up near the top.
On which hand?
The right one. It was all wrapped up, you know, all around, not just an adhesive kind.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sorry I can't give you more information. That didn't make me happier than for you to catch them. Especially the one that kept hitting me, the one in the back seat.
Yes, ma'am, I understand.
I think he enjoyed it. He'd grin when he did it. After I made the mistake of grabbing for my purse. I tried not to give him a reason to hit me again. It didn't help. He just hit me when he felt like it. No reason at all.
Really wouldn't have made any difference what you did, ma'am.
How do you mean, Mr. Friday?
Men like that.
Yeah?
They don't need a reason. We continued to question Gwen Alston, but she could add nothing further that would aid us in identifying the suspects. She did give us a description of the ring. She said she would call and give us the serial number of her watch. She couldn't tell us anything about the knife used to intimidate her other than the fact that it had a blade about 6 inches long. We asked her to come down to the city hall and check the mug books. Dr. Hall released the victim and she returned home in the company of her brother. The radio unit that had answered the call had gotten out a local broadcast on the 2 suspects. They impounded the victim's car and it had been moved to the official police garage. 9:37 p.m. Frank and I drove over to Wall Street. The crew from Leighton Prince had just finished going over the car.
Hi, Joe, Frank.
Hi, Harlan. How are you?
You fellas draw this one?
Yeah. You going to give us some help this time?
Yeah, just finishing. Doesn't look too good.
Yeah?
Got a couple of partials, nothing real clean.
Well, what we got from the victim, it looks like we got our work cut out for us on this.
What do you mean, Joe?
Well, all she could give us in the way of a description would fit any number of guys.
I see. Well, we got something out of the back seat that might be of some use to you.
What's that, Harlan?
I got it right here in an envelope. There you are, Joe.
What's this?
Well, that aluminum container has some corneal lenses in it.
What do you mean?
Eyeglasses. You know, the kind that fit right in the eye.
Oh. Where'd you find them?
In the back seat, right on top of the cushion.
Well, it might be something. We'll have to check with the Alston woman, see if they belong to her or anybody in her family.
Yeah. What is this case, Joe?
Kidnapping robbery.
How many suspects?
2.
One woman in the car?
Yeah.
Hurt her at all?
Yeah, beat her up a little.
Huh. Real He-Man, huh? I sure wish I had more for you fellas to go on.
Yeah, we don't have much, but at least we know something.
What's that, Joe?
When we reach these 2,
yeah,
they won't give us any fight. We went back to the office and called Gwen Alston. She told us the corneal lenses found in her car did not belong to her or to any member of her immediate family. She also gave us the serial number on her watch. We took the container over to the crime lab. Ray Pinker said because of the facets on the lenses, he thought it was a type made by the Stimson Company. The next morning, we drove out to their shop. We talked to George Dudley. We showed him the lenses.
Yes, that's our lens. You can tell quite easily when you hold it up to the light. See those little facets?
Mm-hmm. Where is it? Oh, yeah. Could you tell us who these were made for, Dudley?
I can give you the name of the optician.
Appreciate it if you could.
I'll have to check our files, but it shouldn't take too long.
All right, sir.
Ordinarily, we'd have checked lens power, diameter, and radius curvature.
Yes, sir.
But this is a special type lens.
That's so?
It's used to correct the condition of the eye known as keratoconus.
What's that, sir?
The conical cornea.
Oh.
We don't make too many of them. Excuse me, I'll get the name of the optician for you.
All right, fine. Pretty good deal, huh? Yeah. I know a fellow who wears them. Says he used to hate to get a haircut, but not anymore. All right. Yeah, with these glasses on his eyes, now he can get his haircut and still read the magazines.
I found it for you.
That's good.
These were made for John L. Roberts.
Just a minute, sir. I'd like to write that down. Okay, go ahead, please.
John L. Roberts, 439 Camden Drive, Beverly Hills.
Thank you, sir.
Got it?
Yes, sir. This is the optician that sent in the prescription, huh?
That's right.
All right, fine. Thanks for your cooperation, Dudley.
Not at all. I always get a kick out of helping you, fella.
Yes, sir.
A lot of steps to solve a crime, aren't there?
Quite a few, yeah.
Sure hope I've given you a little something.
You have?
A lot of steps.
Yes, sir. You helped us make the first one. We drove out to Beverly Hills and we talked to John L. Roberts. He checked the prescription number against his files and gave us the name and address of a Robert Brierton as the man he had fitted with the corneal lenses. Frank and I went over to the house on Bedford Street, but there was nobody home. We found out from a neighbor that Brierton worked for a coin machine repair company on Pico Boulevard. We located the concern, and the manager showed us where we could find the suspect. 10:13 a.m. Robert Brierton? Is your name Robert Brierton?
Yeah?
Police officers. It's our identification.
Joe Friday?
That's right. It's Frank Smith. Hi, Howard. I'd like to ask you some questions.
What about?
You wear those glasses all the time?
Do I what?
The glasses you got on. Do you wear them for work?
Yeah, most of the time. What's this about glasses?
You ever wear any other kind?
Yeah, why?
What kind?
Well, how many kinds are there?
Why don't you tell us?
Well, I don't get this. What am I supposed to have done?
You wear another kind of glasses? Isn't that what you said?
Yeah.
What kind?
They're corneal lens types.
Where are they?
I don't know. Home, I guess.
You're not sure?
Look, officers, I don't know what you're after, but if it's something that happened in the last 20 years, you got the wrong guy.
Well, if we have, then you got nothing to worry about, have you?
That's right, but mistaken identity can be embarrassing. I'd just like to know what I'm supposed to have done.
Suppose you tell us about the other glasses, huh?
The corneal lens?
Yeah.
Well, what do you want to know about them?
Like we said before, we want to know where they are.
Well, like I said, home.
You sure?
Yeah.
How many pair do you have?
One.
You wear glasses all the time?
Yeah.
Can you see without them?
Yeah, but not too good.
Where were you the night before last?
At home?
How about last night?
Same.
All night.
Right.
Can you prove it?
Yeah, my wife will tell you that. You can call her on the phone. She'll tell you I didn't leave the house.
All right. We'll go out there.
You can call her just as well.
We'd like to see your other glasses, too.
All right. You mind telling me what this is all about?
We're investigating a kidnapping and robbery.
You think I had something to do with it?
We're investigating.
Okay, if that's how it is, I got nothing to hide. You want to go right now?
That's right.
My jacket's right here in the locker.
Wait a minute, I'll get it for you. This it?
Yeah, the brown suede with the net trim.
We took Robert Brierton with us, and we drove out to his home. On the way, he continued to deny any knowledge of the crime. Because the victim, Gwen Alston, had been unable to furnish us with much of a description of the suspects, it was difficult to determine whether or not Brierton was one of the men. He had dark hair. He was in his early 20s. The suede jacket he wore checked out. 11:07 a.m.
Anna? Anna? Guess you didn't hear.
It's all right. We'll wait for her.
Now, I've been trying to make up my mind whether I should be mad or not. I know you're only doing what you have to, so I guess there's no need to get overheated, but I'll say it again. You got the wrong guy.
Well, if we're wrong, we'll admit it.
Just hope this doesn't put me in bad down at work.
No need for it, too, if you're innocent.
I suppose so. You want to sit down? I don't know just when my wife will get back.
If you don't mind, we'd like to see your other glasses now.
Oh, sure, I'll get them for you.
Where are they?
Well, I usually keep them on the bedroom dresser when I'm not using them.
All right, we'll go with you, all right?
Sure. Hope she made the bed. She's a pretty good housekeeper, but sometimes she gets a little sloppy about it.
Yeah.
I swear they were right here on the dresser.
Yeah.
I haven't had them too long. I switch off with these that I'm wearing.
Did you wear them yesterday?
Yeah, but then they should still be on the dresser. I don't know where they could be.
Well, maybe we can help you.
What do you mean?
Who's back there?
Anna?
What are you doing home?
Honey, these are police officers. This is my wife.
I do.
How you doing, ma'am?
What are they doing here?
We'd like to talk to you, Miss Brierton.
About what?
Now, don't worry, dear.
But what's it all about?
Would you like to step out in the other room, please?
It's all right, dear.
I don't understand this.
Listen, do. Can you tell us where your husband was Tuesday night?
He was home with me.
How about last night?
He was here all evening.
You sure?
Yes, he came home from work and stayed in all evening.
Oh, I see.
What is it?
Police business.
You think Robert had something to do with it?
Yes, we do.
When did this happen?
Last night.
I told you he was home all evening.
That may be true, but these corneal lenses were found in the victim's car.
They belong to Robert?
That's what his optician told us, yeah.
It's all wrong.
Well, the victim was beaten by a man who wore a jacket, brown suede with knit trim. That's the kind your husband owns, you know.
But he wasn't out of the house, I tell you.
I'm afraid we'll have to take him downtown.
No, he didn't do it. I know it.
I'm sorry, Miss Brierton. These are your husband's lenses. They were found in the victim's car.
But he was with me all evening.
That may be, but we're going to have to hold him.
No, he didn't do it. It was Gordon.
Gordon who?
I let him wear Robert's jacket last night.
Well, who's Gordon?
My brother.
You are listening to Dragnet, the authentic story of your police force in action.
Mrs. Briarton went on to explain that she let her younger brother take the suede jacket the previous night. She also told us that the boy was living with them while he attended school. After questioning her further, we learned that Gordon Heddig had been in trouble with the police before. We called the office and asked Jack Crowley to check the name and description through R&I. We also asked that if he came up with a record, he'd have Harlan Stahl compare Heddig's fingerprints with the partials found in the victim's car. Frank and I got the address of the school that the boy was attending, and we drove over to see him. We waited in a small office while the school authorities located him.
Well, Miss Austin was right about what she told us.
What do you mean?
Well, she said she couldn't give us a very accurate description.
Yeah.
She said the ages might be around 20 or so.
Mm-hmm.
Not many high school students look 20, not even seniors.
Yeah, that's true, but according to what the Briartons told us, this could be the boy.
Yeah, that's right.
Come in. Come on in, son. Close the door. You Gordon Heddig?
Yeah.
Police officers, Heddig.
What do you want me to do? Stand at attention?
I told you once to come on in. Now, come on over here.
Sure, but remember where you are. These ain't soundproof walls.
I don't play tough with us, son. Sit down.
You see, the orders always tell you guys what to do. Sit down, stand up. You're all the same. Never get off a guy.
All right, now, just keep still.
I'm sitting in school trying to learn something. You got to come around and jerk me out of class. Why don't you wait until General Assembly? Get the whole school in on it. I don't care what you do to a guy's reputation.
That's what you think, is it?
Yeah.
Now, listen, son, we never heard of you before today, but we're finding out fast. The way we got it, you've gone way out of your way to make your own record, and you didn't do it in the classroom. We've got a good reason to be here. If you're innocent, you won't have to worry about what anyone in this school thinks.
You don't sell me, mister.
We don't have to, son. If you're clean, it's like we never met you. But I'm going to put it right on the line for you. The way this thing shapes up right now, we think you already bought yourself another hunk of trouble.
Figures. I'm made before I go in.
That's where you're wrong, kid. Nobody's going to tag you with a bum beef. You give us the right answers, and like my partner said, we never met you.
All right. What do you want from me?
You can start by telling us what you did last night.
I went to a show.
Where?
Downtown.
What time?
Oh, around 7, I guess.
Who was with you?
Nobody. Went by myself.
What was the name of the theater?
The Dawn.
What'd you see?
What pictures?
Yeah.
I don't remember right off. One was a Western. It was about spies.
You're all by yourself.
I said so, didn't I?
What time did you get out of the show?
Around 10, I guess.
What'd you do then?
Went home.
What kind of clothes did you have on last night?
What do you mean?
What were you wearing?
Oh, jacket, sports shirt, usual stuff.
What kind of jacket?
Suede.
Belong to you?
No, my brother-in-law.
Mm-hmm. How'd you get out to Washington and Normandy?
To where?
Washington and Normandy.
I told you I was downtown. Say, what is this?
You tell us. You were in that car, weren't you?
What car?
The one you beat the woman in.
Oh, you're crazy.
Who was with you?
I told you I was alone. What more do you want?
The name of the person that was with you.
I don't know what you're trying to tag me with, but you're not going to make it this time. I told you I was at a show by myself. How do you think you can prove I wasn't?
We found the lenses you lost from the jacket pocket.
Boy, this gets wilder all the time. I was sitting in the show last night, that's it.
In other words, you don't want to tell us about it, is that it?
About the show.
All right, Heddig, you play it your way. It's going to take us a little longer, that's all.
Same old story. Don't make any difference what I say. You know I got a record, so I'm guilty. Don't make any difference. Either way, I'm the pigeon.
No, you're wrong. Not with us, Heddig.
Oh, come on. I just didn't fall off the Christmas tree.
There's only one way we want you.
Yeah?
If you're wrong. We took Gordon Heddig to the city hall for further questioning. We called Gwen Alston and asked her to come down and see if she could identify the suspect. Harlan Stahl said the suspect's fingerprints matched the partials found in the car, but there weren't enough points to build a case on. 2:47 p.m. Frank and I had the suspect brought to the squad room.
Why don't you give up? I ain't going to cop out to something I didn't do.
We don't expect you to, but we still want to know how a container with your brother-in-law's lenses could be found in the back seat of a victim's car. Now, they were in his jacket, and you wore that jacket. Isn't that right?
Don't ask me. I was at the show.
Yeah, so you said.
Another thing, you guys better treat me pretty good while I'm in here.
Yeah?
Sure. I'm a kid. Don't forget it.
Yeah, that's the way it reads on the books. For my money, that's as far as it goes. I told you once we can put you in the back seat of that car. I get it. Robbery Friday. Right. Send her down, will you? Right away. Thank you. I'm going to tag the business office. I'll be right back.
Okay, John.
Miss Alston?
Hello, Sergeant Friday. I got down as soon as I could.
All right, fine.
Have you got the man here?
Well, we'd like you to tell us. We'll go down the hall here.
Well, what do I have to do?
Just look into this room. Tell me if you see the man that beat you up.
Will I have to face him?
No. We'll go around here. You can look through the door. Come on.
All right.
All right, here. Now, do you see him? Well, what about it?
Yes. That's him there.
We confronted Gordon Heddick with the fact that he'd been positively identified by the person he had beaten and robbed. He still refused to admit any knowledge of the crime. We booked him on Section 700 Sub-M, robbery. A check was made of the FI cards in an attempt to identify the person who'd been with Heddick the night before. We called Newton, University, and 77th Street divisions. When we checked with Central, a clerk went through the files and found that the suspect had been stopped at 9th and Main Streets at 10 p.m. the previous night. Frank and I went over to the First Street station.
Is the FI card you wanted, Sergeant?
Thank you. Mm-hmm. Well, here's what we're looking for.
Yeah?
Wasn't alone. A person by the name of John Burko was with him.
Officer make a card on him, too?
Yeah, I got it here.
What about the other guy?
Thank you. John Burko, B-E-R-K-O, age 19, 506 Holt Avenue.
Yeah.
Something else in the back here that checks out.
What's that?
Notation the officer made.
Yeah.
Burko's right thumb was bandaged. We went back to the office and ran the name John Burko through R&I. We found a package for him that showed several arrests as a juvenile and one as an adult for suspicion of ADW. Gwen Alston was shown his mug shot, and she identified him as the other suspect. We drove out to his address on Holt Street. It was a boarding house. The owner admitted us to his room. We waited. 4 hours went by. 8:19 p.m. All right, Burko, hold it right there.
What?
Police officers, get your hands over your head. Come on, move.
Sure.
Open the door. Come on. Hands up on the door. Fine, now hold it right there. All right. Okay. He's clean, Joe.
What's the pitch?
Come on, turn around. Get your hands behind your back.
All right. Take it easy with my thumb. I think I got blood poison.
Yeah.
Now, you want to tell me what this is about?
A friend of yours sent us over to get you. Says you always work together on everything. It's kind of lonesome without you.
Who are you talking about?
Heddick.
He sent you here. He copped out to you?
All right, let's go.
What did he say?
You figured. We're here.
That Fink. Big talk about how he'd never cop out to anything. Never admit nothing. Well, that's the way it is when you get mixed up with young squirts.
All right, let's go.
Lousy punk. Suppose you know how he beat up that woman.
Yep.
Should have heard him afterwards, laughing about how he hit her. Should have figured he'd cop out if he got nailed. No guts. Got to beat up on women. No guts at all.
Well, that's real funny, isn't it?
What's that?
We just talked to him.
Yeah?
He said the same things about you.
The story you've just heard is true. The names were changed to protect the innocent.
On June 9th, trial was held in Department 97, Superior Court of the State of California, in and for the County of Los Angeles. A petition was filed on Gordon Heddick, alleging one count of robbery and kidnapping. He was declared unfit as a juvenile and ordered to be tried in Superior Court. Gordon Jerome Heddick and John Carlton Burko were tried and convicted of robbery in the first degree, one count, and kidnapping for the purpose of robbery. Robbery in the first degree is punishable by imprisonment for a period of not less than 5 years. Kidnapping for the purpose of robbery with bodily harm is punishable by imprisonment in the state penitentiary for life without possibility of parole.
Dragnet. The story of your police force in action is a presentation of the United States Armed Forces Radio Service.